CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, June 12th. We're looking at another sunny day, highs of 24 degrees. A little cooler by the water. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. It's 11 right now, though, as we get up into the Thursday. And here's Lisa Best with the 6 o'clock news.
Unexpected water woes in downtown Victoria. An internal water leak on the third floor of that former YMCA building on Broughton Street at Quadra has thrown a monkey wrench into the City of Victoria's swimming pool plans. The building ended up sustaining significant damage on all floors. Director of Parks and Rec, Derek Newman, says they're looking at the impacts the flooding might have on the facility that was to sub for the Crystal Pool.
The city is currently undertaking plans and designs to do some renovations to the facility that would allow us to transition our recreation services over there while we're constructing the new pool. Unfortunately, this incident is a bit of a setback for us, and we need to understand the implications of this water damage and what remediation might look like before we can understand whether there's any impacts to those plans.
Derek says immediate focus for them is on safety-related issues. The debate over the proposed garden on the top of the Johnson Street Parkade has taken an interesting twist. The Victoria Firefighters Association says the city recently rejected their parking proposal idea because dedicated firefighter parking was deemed an unreasonable use of public assets. The city says operational requirements continue to be met through the provision of adequate parking available at all fire station locations, and that no city staff in the downtown core are provided free parking. The union has engaged the grievance process, which the city says is the appropriate avenue to address the matter. So more to come in this department. We'll hear from the fire crew coming up at 6:20. Up Island, RCMP making breakthrough in the case involving damage to the Port Alberni Pacific Railroad. A 1930 vintage rail car spotted on fire on Tuesday, virtually torched. The witness on scene spotted 3 suspects running from the scene. Video caught the suspects climbing into the rail car before the fire started and climbing out moments later when the smoke and flames were visible. That rail car has been lost. RCMP locating and arresting 3 suspects, all teens. The same rail car was vandalized just the previous week. Up in Nanaimo still, RCMP asking for tips from the theft of a shotgun from a parked vehicle. Earlier this month, the incident occurred sometime after midnight Saturday, June 6th. Police say someone smashed the rear passenger window of a pickup truck parked in the 100 block of Cameron Road near Maritime Museum. They stole a Mossberg 500 Mossy Oak 12-gauge pump action shotgun and also a blanket and a bank card. CCTV imagery show the male suspect walking up to the vehicle around 3 that morning. He's described as white, wearing black clothing and white runners. Not much to go on, but if you know anything, contact Nanaimo RCMP's non-emergency line. Gun control advocacy groups in Canada urging the Prime Minister to implement a long-awaited protection measure within federal firearms legislation. The measure makes a person who is subject to protection order ineligible to hold a firearms license while the order is in effect at a time when they're considered the most dangerous. It's a key facet of the firearms legislation that passed 30 months ago. Groups who support firearm control have released a statement urging the Liberals to move forward without delay in adopting regulations that broadly define what protection order actually is. We're learning more details on that ceasefire with Iran and some financial relief on the horizon for Tehran.
For the first time in years, the U.S. lifting restrictions allowing Iran to freely sell oil. The U.S. also committing to negotiate lifting all sanctions against Iran and the release of billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets if certain progress is made. But last month, the president said this.
No, we're not talking about any easing of sanctions or giving money. No sanctions, no money, no nothing.
Well, the White House had planned a signing ceremony Friday in Switzerland, so tomorrow, but the fate is now uncertain with conflicting information coming from the U.S., Iran, and Pakistan. And more on the Beergate in the World Cup, with all eyes on Vancouver today. Canada set to take on Qatar in their second game of the tournament. Canada's second game happens this afternoon at 3. CTV's Andrew Johnson looking at the Vancouver bars that were almost drunk dry.
200 kegs ready to go for this week. I got another 80 kegs coming in the next couple days.
They're not taking any chances after what happened on Saturday. A mob of Aussies, hundreds strong, nearly drank the bar dry, downing about 2,500 beers.
We're here to give to the community. We're using our taxpayers' money for you, Canada.
The pub had to make an emergency run to restock.
I've never seen that before anywhere. That was like stadium-sized amount of alcohol.
Despite the reports of excessive drinking, police say FIFA fans have been respectful and there's been no incidents reported. That's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. We're asking, where do you prefer to swim? 25% say an indoor pool works for them, 29% like a lake, 5% the ocean, and 40% apparently don't take a dip. They don't go swimming. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. Unleash the best your news time, 6:07.
As long as it's warm, that's
Right?
my thing.
I know.
I'm such a baby when it gets to getting into cold water.
And people say, just jump right in. I'm like, I
No.
can't do that. That's too much of a commitment.
No, I need to,
gotta
like,
dip everything.
Yeah, you got to
individually.
slowly walk in.
Make the pain last.
until you're fine up into the knees. That's fine. That's no
the
problem.
Kneecaps are bad.
But then you get, as soon as the bathing suit starts getting wet, that's where it starts to get.
In the belly?
You got to stand. Yeah, you got to stand there.
The belly's cold.
You got to stand there for at least 5 minutes, just sort of thinking about it.
Freezing. What are my life choices up to this point?
And then my kid comes and pushes me from behind, and then that's how I get
dear.
into the water.
That's why you raise children.
Yeah.
So they can just do that for you, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
What were we talking about? It's the weather. Let's go do that real quick. It's sunny.
Is it swimming weather?
It is actually.
Okay.
It's a high of 24 today. There's a Humidex back though. Remember
Love
the
it.
Humidex from last
Very
weekend?
sexy, yeah.
So it's going to feel just ever so slightly warmer. A Humidex at 25, so it's not excessive, but a little bit of humidity coming back into our weather, which will be with us tomorrow as well. So it's a couple of days of that in the forecast, and we'll give you the details in just a moment. Right now it's 11 degrees. We're going over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. Of course, this is a big day in the World Cup because Canada is playing again. So let's kick it over to the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Canada hits the pitch today for its second game at the World Cup, and superstar Alphonso Davies will be available to come off the bench after missing Canada's opening match against Bosnia.
He'll be available tomorrow, and we'll see how the match goes and then make a decision on how we would choose to use him.
That's Canadian coach Jesse Marsh. Canada and Qatar both sitting on 1 point as they meet at 6 p.m. Eastern from Vancouver Stadium. The other two teams in Group B, Bosnia and Switzerland, will meet at 3 Eastern in Los Angeles. Yesterday, England got its World Cup off to a smashing start as Harry Kane scored twice in a 4-2 win over Croatia. Game 2 in rainy Toronto Stadium saw Ghana score in stoppage time to defeat Panama 1-0. Favored Portugal was held to a 1-1 draw by Congo, and Colombia defeated Uzbekistan 3-1. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
And I've got to tell you, the game's on CFAX. We are going to be broadcasting a radio broadcast of the FIFA World Cup Canada matchup today, starting just before 3 o'clock, but the kickoff around 3. So if you got to have it on the radio, maybe you're driving around somewhere and you can't be in front of the TV, well, we've got you covered on the radio today. I'm so excited for this. Real quick, I want to tell you about some local sports because the Victoria Harbour Cats and the Redmond Dudes faced off again last night, and Redmond managed to come out victorious this time, a 9-5 win for Redmond after Victoria took the opening game. Third game of the series is this morning. It's a back-to-school spirit game, so it's starting at 11:05. And Toronto Blue Jays sent, I should say, will send right-hander Trey Savage to the mound today against the Boston Red Sox. Toronto seeking a 3-game sweep in Boston before heading to Chicago for a 3-game set against the Cubs. And Kyle Bradish struck out a career-high 12 while pitching 1-run ball into the 8th inning as the Baltimore Orioles beat the Seattle Mariners 5-3. That's your sports to 6:10. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 6:11 here on a Thursday morning in Victoria, and if I look out at the roads right now, it's looking pretty typical. No crashes or accidents. If you see otherwise, do text me at 71010. As far as I know, the Bay Street Bridge is still closed for their overnight closure, which is scheduled to come to an end at 7 this morning, and then traffic will flow in both directions again. Although yesterday they closed early, so if you happen to go by, and if the Bay Street Bridge happens to be flowing again, do let me know at 71010. But at least for the schedule, it's supposed to be closed right now. For BC Ferries, no sailing wait. 7 o'clock sailing is your next vessel from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen, and there's lots of room left. Now over to the weather forecast, where it is sunny with a high of 24 today. Cooler by the water with a little bit of ocean breeze coming off the Juan de Fuca Strait, but a humidex is entering the forecast. That means we got a bit of humidity, a bit of mugginess back into our weather. It's not excessive. It's a humidex of 25, so with our high temperature 24, it'll feel like 25, so about 1 degree warmer if you're in that humidity and kind of away from that moderating ocean breeze. It's the exact same thing tomorrow. And then Saturday cools off a little bit, sunny with a high of 20. Sunday, sunny with a high of 24, but staying sunny and warm right through. The long-range forecast, real quick, just peering ahead into next week. We'll see what happens as we get into that long-range forecast, but it does look like some heat is staying with us into next week with temperatures in the mid to high 20s. Well, right now, just 11 degrees. That's the official forecast for Victoria right now. On the markets, North American stock markets have not opened yet. That's coming later this hour, so let's take a look at how yesterday closed. Here's Aaron Sousa.
Canada's main stock index dipped yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX lost 264 to 35,125. In New York, the Dow shed 507 and the Nasdaq fell 354. Asian markets this morning were mixed. In Tokyo, the Nikkei climbed 1,100 points, but the Hang Seng in Hong Kong dropped 387. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 87 cents U.S. Unifor is gearing up for critical contract talks with Detroit's big three automakers. Talks begin Monday in Toronto. Union President Lena Payne says job security is a top priority. Rogers is the latest telecom to face a CRTC warning over new fees for activating or changing cell phone plans. The company claims these fees are optional and should be exempt. Bell and Telus have also been in a similar dispute. And Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says it might be too late for a fall referendum on a petition to ban new coal mining. That's despite thousands of signatures collected by country musician Cor Blund. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making CFAX a part of your morning as we get into this Thursday. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa here. And Lisa, we've got FIFA World Cup action right here on CFAX today.
Very excited about that.
The Canada-Qatar game is going to be right here on the radio starting at 3 when the kickoff happens. Really looking forward to seeing BC Play Stadium again on the TV because it's so cool to see, our home province as part of this.
Absolutely.
And then yesterday I was watching the Ghana-Panama game, which was taking place in Toronto at the stadium there. So there was another kind of, even though it wasn't a Canadian game, or I should say Team Canada game.
But it was on our soil.
It was on our soil, which is really cool. And something funny happened during that game because I was watching that.
Okay, what is it?
Do you know how you and I have been ranting about hydration breaks?
Yes.
And we had sports guy Steve this week, soccer guy Steve on, and he was talking about the hydration breaks as well. And we're kind of...
It's a thing.
Yeah. So yesterday during the Ghana-Panama game in Toronto... If you were watching it like I was, there's some rain coming down, so it looked kind of wet. Everybody's got their little rain ponchos on. Apparently, I don't know the exact temperature, but it was unseasonably cool for a Toronto evening in June.
Okay.
So a bit cold. It's raining. And then a hydration break happens. And the fans booed it. They were booing in Toronto the hydration break. And I think because of that combination of it's raining and it's cold and you're stopping to drink water.
Is that the real reason, though?
As we've been joking. It's,
maybe it's an ad break.
An ad break. But anyways, that was on full display yesterday in
Hydration
Toronto.
break, whatever it is. Yeah, I can see fans not really liking this in the long run.
Yeah.
Really pushing back against this somehow.
Yeah, I wonder if all
Soccer
the noise
fans aren't really wallflowers.
No, they have opinions and they express them.
Very strong ones.
Oh, and in case you're wondering, Ghana beat Panama 1-0 in that game with the hydration break. Just to fully complete the story.
Fair enough. The thing I'm getting used to, very much used to while these games are on, is Steve giving me play-by-play while I'm in the news booth.
Yes, because you guys have the TV on all day in the newsroom, and when Steve's here, he's just...
And you may not realize it, but Steve sits like right here beside me.
Yeah, you guys sit together. Yeah.
So, it's kind of like a work husband and wife team where I get to sit there and I get to hear all the play-by-play, and the audio is off the TV in the corner here.
Right. So it's Steve.
He's still yelling at it.
Right.
And I keep saying, they can't hear you. But he's like, doesn't matter. That's wrong. And he tells me why. And so learning a lot about soccer that way. It's kind of an osmosis thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get sports guy Steve on the radio with us later today because he's actually heading to the game in Vancouver today, Canada's match at 3. It'll be here on the radio. It's also going to be there in Vancouver with Steve in attendance, and he's going to join us, I think, for the ferry. I think he's going to be heading over this morning.
Yes.
So we'll connect with him later.
He said he was going to try to catch us a couple times before the game. He also said I said, you know what? You might want to get your beer in early.
Because they're selling out. In the pubs, at least in Vancouver, we've been hearing that.
It's just so incredulous. Well, they're bringing reinforcements in.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of the beer makers over on this side have heard from them too. Bring your beer. Maybe it's BYOB now. I have to check that.
Yeah.
Wear red and BYOB.
I love these stories, and it's not just because we talked yesterday about Vancouver.
Yeah.
These pubs reporting like the Australians showed up on Saturday, and all of a sudden they ran out of booze. But all of these North American cities are getting all of these Europeans or
they ran out of
Australians.
Boston Lager.
Yeah, all of these North American cities are not used to the level of European and Australian drinking.
The imbibing.
Which is a great story.
Spirits are high.
Yes, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. At 6:18, here are the headlines. What else is going on? Lisa, take it away.
Saanich getting some help from the feds for a remake of the Brett Sewer Lift Station. The federal government was tossing in $1.2 million for the development of a detailed design work to commission the existing lift station and construction of a modern replacement facility. The work will assist in expanding capacity for future housing developments in that particular service area. Police in Whistler say they're on the lookout for a suspected serial jacket thief. You're planning to vacation there soon. Sea to Sky RCMP said looking for a man believed behind a rash of thefts of jackets from stores both in BC and Alberta. They say they got a call around May 15th about a theft from the Whistler retail store. Investigators got a photo of the suspect they're hoping to identify. Investigators looking for a white male with light brown facial hair, around 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, wearing glasses. One distinctive thing, a mustard yellow fedora hat. Of course, you can always take that off. So not much to go on, but interesting thing to steal. And the kickstand's up for Veterans Life After Service motorcycle ride happens locally this weekend. The event starts 8:30 Saturday morning at the Veterans Food Bank located off the West Shore Parkway. Kickstand's up at 10:30. The $40 registration fee supports a service dog program by the BC and Alberta Guide Dogs. The program helps vets and first responders diagnosed with operational stress injuries or post-traumatic stress. The veterans and first responders will ride free. Riders are also asked to bring a non-perishable food item for the Veterans Food Bank on site. And that's your news to 6:19.
Now, we've got another twist to the story of the garden plots at the Johnson Street Parkade. You remember this? So we were talking about this. City Council moved forward last week. The idea of exploring converting 16 rooftop parking spots in the Johnson Street Parkade to community garden plots. It's not a done deal yet, but they're looking into it. Well, this has now got the Victoria Firefighters Union up in arms because of a bit of a parking disagreement they already have with the city.
Right.
And I think this is fascinating. We're going to tell more about the story and why has it got the firefighters upset, this garden plot thing. We're going to tell you more in just a moment after traffic and weather. CFAX traffic and weather, 6:22 now, and we've got no problems on the roads as far as crashes or accidents are concerned. We have the overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge still on the schedule, expected to lift around 7, although it did end a little early yesterday, so let me know if you see that at 7:10. For the weather forecast today, looking at a sunny day, highs of 24, a little bit of humidity, maybe feeling about 1 degree warmer than what the temperature gauge will tell you, with a bit of mugginess in the air, high humidex of 25, but then cooler by the water, because it's a bit breezy by the Wandafuka Strait, so, usual Victoria thing. Tonight, clear skies, lows to 11. Tomorrow, exact same forecast, slightly humid, temperatures in the mid-20s, and then the weekend looks sunny and warm as well. Right now, the temperatures across Greater Victoria are varied as they always are. In Langford, we're looking at 10 degrees. At the University of Victoria by Saanich there, it is 15 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
As the city of Victoria explores the idea of converting 16 rooftop Johnson Street Parkade parking stalls into a rooftop garden, community garden plots, the union representing firefighters has put out a response crying foul over this. I thought this was very fascinating. When we spoke to Josh Montgomery, who's a firefighter who represents the union, he spoke to Josh and Jade yesterday, which in this particular case was Josh and Morgana, as Morgana filled in.
Yeah, I know parking is a hot button topic, and that's why we haven't brought it up to this point. But I think that my members, in seeing in the news that there was enough parking available that we can convert it to another use, but not enough parking available for first responders in the city of Victoria, just felt disrespected and a little bit dismissed.
Yeah, Josh Montgomery, president of the Victoria Local 730, the union, he was speaking about how they've been having this discussion with the city over parking, because I guess, Lisa, historically, the firefighters got parking spaces.
Yes.
So you come to work, you got a parking space.
Okay, it's a nice perk to have, and you're a first responder, and somehow it's covered. Somebody pays for it, but still, it's a nice perk.
Yeah, but over the last little while, I guess that's being phased out.
There's not as much parking,
and they don't have the free just parking spaces they were given, and the city was telling them there's not enough available to give you, I guess, in these discussions. And then to hear at the same time, but we do have enough to turn 16 of our spots into garden plots, I guess was rubbing them the wrong way.
I think the term would be adding insult to injury.
Yeah. So here is a bit more on that story.
Providing parking at fire stations is standard practice across North America. In fact, we've done our own homework, and to my knowledge, there's no fire department in Western Canada that does not have parking available for both on-shift crews and emergency call-ins. For the record, Victoria firefighters are not against garden plots. The statement from council in this proposal was there's often 100 plus available stalls in the Johnson Street Parkade at any one time. So, converting 16 of them garden plots is not the issue. The issue is that we brought a lot of very reasonable proposals to the employer, and we're told that converting paid city assets to employee parking was not possible. And now we're hearing that there's so much excess that converting it to garden plots is possible. And that's where the frustration of my members comes from. So I would love to see both happen. In fact, I think the firefighters would probably help build those garden plots if we had some available parking in the parkade as well.
Huh. And
even offering to pick up a shovel.
Yeah. Just give us some parking. And I guess the specific issues in the downtown core, I guess if my rough understanding is that's the area that they are talking about. It's not like the firefighter parking lots outside of the downtown core have gone away. It's just that area that they're talking about, just for, full context. But here's a bit more on what's going on.
There was kind of a slow erosion of parking. So, it was very constrained and limited. At some point in December, we lost our provided parking at the time, which was at the Legacy headquarters, during a shuffle of city departments. And the shuffle was due to a city building on Bridge Street being repurposed. So in that, we lost some of our provided parking, and it was further narrowed down and constrained to the point where the union went and got our own parking solution, albeit it's short-term and not really adequate. But we did go find some form of parking. At that point, we filed a grievance with the city over the loss of a long-standing benefit.
That's interesting there, because, some people might be wondering, I don't get a free parking space. I got to go pay for my own parking space if I work downtown or have to go downtown.
Right.
Why are the firefighters complaining about this? But I guess if you had this long-standing benefit, if free parking was just part of your gig, and then that's taken away. And
Unilaterally.
Yeah, and now you've got this.
There was no agreement for you to take it away, was it?
Yeah, it's not worked out in the contract.
And it was grandfathered in up until this point.
Yeah. So I could see why they would have this grievance. Like, hey, we used to have this paid, this benefit. Now it's costing me more money. It actually is reducing my earning power because I have to pay for parking where I didn't used to. I
get putting dirt on top of the problem.
And now, but yeah, and again, it's and then you've got enough spots to build garden plots. So I can see why.
Luxurious. Yeah, it's like if we have a wealth of parking spots, let's put garden plots up. But most people will immediately gripe, and sometimes rightfully so, especially in some spots, that we have a dearth of parking because bike lanes or building construction, whatever the reason, depending on the spot, we don't have as much. And many people cite that's the reason why they don't go downtown, is they just can't seem to find parking. So when we have first responders saying, okay, we get it. And then we hear about the garden and they hear about the garden. I do think insult to injury on this because of the agreement that they did have. And maybe it wasn't handled so well.
Texters at 71010 weighing in. This texter says, the city is wrong on the parkade. Firefighters put their lives on the line every day and they should have parking. City needs to do better on development and ensuring there's enough green space. And then this texter says maybe Victoria Council should give up their free parking. I wonder what the status of that is. I for some reason thought that there was maybe a pullback on that already, but I should double check what the status of council parking is, because it used to be they all got free parking in the parkades. I'm not so sure if that's the case anymore. If anybody has the clarification there, let me know. I'll see if I can find that out. But let us know what you think at 71010 as we talk about it. What else is going on? Well, we've got the 6:30 news coming up with Lisa, and we've got the sports, traffic, weather, everything you need to know to start your day. Next.
developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago. And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah. Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
.31 on Thursday, June 18th. We've got a little bit of heat coming at us with an 11-degree temperature right now, but a high of 24 for today and a little humidity coming back into the forecast. A full story on the weather is coming up, but first the news. And we say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning. Most experts doubt the U.S. would suddenly leave the CUSMA trade agreement, despite the American president's comments yesterday suggesting otherwise.
U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters at the G7 summit in France he would rather not have the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement in place.
But I may sign it, right? But I would. We do better as a country if we don't have an agreement.
So are you thinking of...
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe we won't be able to make a deal.
He also said he views it as, quote, possibly expiring immediately. Johns Hopkins University's Christopher Sands says CUSMA's July 1st date is a milestone, not a deadline. Renew CUSMA for 16 more years, withdraw entirely, or do neither. Because of how integrated many North American industries are, most experts doubt that the U.S. would be quick to exit the trade pact. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
Mark Carney, that is, and Donald Trump opened up on some of their wide-ranging, quick side chats at the G7 in France as the summit ended yesterday. CTV's Michael Couture says the Chinese electric vehicle story got explained.
And he likes the structure, actually. We had a follow-up conversation about it as well.
I don't know that I said I like it. Would I rather see a cap than no cap? Yeah, I would.
Carney says the two leaders had several conversations, but none of them included the CUSMA renewal.
I would rather not have
defense contract group hosted by Germany and the UK.
This is a very important moment for that particular war, but to make no doubt about it, Canada remains unwavering with respect to its commitment to Ukraine.
A women's advocacy organization, several other groups that support gun control, are now urging the Prime Minister to fully implement a key facet of firearm legislation that passed 30 months ago.
The measure would make a person who is subject to a protection order ineligible to hold a firearms license while the order is in effect. A protection order is often issued in intimate partner violence cases. The provision is intended to quickly remove firearms from the hands of abusers at the time when they are often the most dangerous. The government says the term protection order has to be defined in regulation, also noting that record-keeping and reporting requirements must be brought into force to fully implement the changes. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
More on that parliamentary committee recommending against letting people with a mental illness access medical assistance in dying. Many of the witnesses who testified at hearings earlier this year urged the committee to permanently exclude those with psychiatric conditions. Saanich and Gulf Islands MP Elizabeth May says she's studying the recommendations but thinks more needs to be addressed.
We can't make it easier to choose medical assistance in dying than continuing to live with the quality of life supports that every Canadian is entitled to expect. So I'm not surprised by this joint committee's report, but it remains to be seen how it will be received by the House, by the Senate, by the government.
Justice Minister Sean Fraser says he'll review those recommendations and the testimony leading up to the government's decision. The head of Apple warns purchasing their products could soon be taking a bigger bite out of your wallet.
CEO Tim Cook says customers should expect price hikes, telling the Wall Street Journal they're unavoidable. Cook did not say when the increases will take place or on which products they'll affect, but he did tell the Journal the upcoming price hikes are being caused by an ongoing shortage of memory and storage chips.
And with the World Cup play underway, of course, Qatar and Canada at 3 o'clock in Vancouver. Ticket scams aren't the only thing fans have to worry about. ABC's Jim Ryan says counterfeit swag is also a growing concern.
In the run-up to the FIFA Championship, Customs and Border Protection agents say they seized $6 million in fake jerseys, toys, soccer balls, sunglasses, and a host of other products labeled as official FIFA gear. That's only at the Port of Houston. CBP says the counterfeits came from the same country as most of the genuine items, China.
Double check what you're buying today in Vancouver ahead of the game. And that's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you about swimming and where do you like to swim? Indoor pool got 22% of the vote. Lakes got 29%. 6% like the ocean. And 43% say they do not go swimming. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:37.
We're talking Johnson Street Parkade parking. We're talking about the garden plot idea for the top floor. And we're talking about how the Victoria Firefighters Union is upset because they've got their own little parking tiff with the city, which is kind of being inflamed by these garden plots, at least the idea of them on the Johnson Street Parkade.
I see what you did there.
I see. Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah, that was slick.
Well, we've got lots of people
inflaming the issue
with lots of
with
the fire
on it
with firefighters. You see what I did there? Yeah. Anyways,
we don't have to unpack it any further. It was
okay.
Good. It was
We're
solid.
done. Okay. Anyways, lots of people weighing in at 7-10-10, and we'll get your opinions in just a few moments as we talk about it. That's coming up next, right after this. Let's talk CFAX 1070 Sports. Yes, Team Canada is in action today from BC Place Stadium here in Vancouver. The Canadian men's soccer team captain Alphonso Davies cleared to play in today's World Cup match against Qatar. But how much Davies will play remains to be seen. It's a pivotal match, though, as all four countries in Canada's pool are tied with 1 point apiece. So it's almost like they all played the first game. They all got exactly even, so now it's still like a fresh slate. So that's coming up today. CFAX will carry the game live at 3 o'clock, so be prepared for that. Sports guy Steve is going to be there too, so we're going to reach out to him and talk about how that's going as he heads towards the stadium. Also, Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina meet in the group's other match. That one's going on in Los Angeles. Mexico hosts South Korea in a Group A match today in Guadalajara. The match comes after the Mexican military shot down a drone that flew near the South Korean training camp. Mexico and South Korea won their opening matches. Czechia and South Africa meet in the other Group A match. So lots going on. Yesterday, amongst the games that were being played, was the Ghana-Panama game. That's the one that was going on in Toronto. Ghana beats Panama 1-0. But there was a reason that story was in the news beyond just the score. The hydration break was booed by spectators on a night that in Toronto was sort of unseasonably chilly. It was raining, and then they had to pause for their 3-minute hydration break despite the weather conditions. The World Cup is the first, this World Cup is the first one to mandate the 3-minute cooling breaks midway through each half, regardless of temperature or whether stadiums are enclosed or are air-conditioned, or in this case, are in the cold rain. Elsewhere, the Victoria Harbour Cats and Redmond Dudes are facing off again. Last night, it was Redmond taking the victory 9-5 over the Harbour Cats. Victoria took the opening game. The third game of the series is this morning, 11:05. It's the School Spirit game. That's your sports to 640. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. What's happening on the roads? Well, it's fairly smooth sailing out there right now. No crashes, accidents, or real volume delays that have built up as of yet. For the Bay Street Bridge, as far as I know, it's still closed up until 7 o'clock this morning. If you see otherwise, do let me know at 7:10:10. But the Bay Street Bridge, full closure overnight. Continued last night. It's going to continue again tonight starting at 7 p.m. But during the day, open in both directions. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. And for the weather forecast today, sunny and warm, highs of 24. A little cooler by the Juan de Fuca Strait. Will there be a bit of onshore wind blowing? It's not going to be a big windy day, just a little cooler breeze by the water. But a humidex of 25, so a bit of humidity entering the forecast again today. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11. Tomorrow's exactly the same. The temperatures are the same. The slight humidity is the same. The weekend is also looking warm and sunny with sunshine and a high of 20 for Saturday, but a high of 24 on Sunday. Right now in Victoria, the temperatures are all over the place, as they always are. If you're in Oak Bay by the water, 12 degrees. At Shawnigan Lake, it is 10 degrees. On the markets, no results as of yet as the opening bells just ring out for North American stock markets. But I can't tell you how things closed off yesterday. S&P TSX in Toronto was down at the close, 264 to 35,125. The Dow Jones in New York dropped 507 to 51,492. The Canadian dollar, it's been slipping. It's at 70.9 cents U.S. in overseas trading. So we're continuing to see a little softening there.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, a texter here with the traffic as well saying, reminder, Caledonia between Cook and Quadra still has that gas line installation. Please listen to the flaggers. Yeah, that's been ongoing for a while and frustrating many people. But yeah, just ongoing road work there too. Thank you for pointing it out. And thanks for joining the conversation at 7:10:10. Many people, Lisa, joining the conversation on the parking issue with the firefighters. I'd like to read some of these here. So this inflaming the issue. Love it. This texter at 7:10:10 says, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. I don't think parking for somebody who does such an essential and dangerous job, such as firefighting, should have parking considered as a perk. It should be a necessity. That's from Chris. Thank you for weighing in. This texter says, I heard that city council can park anywhere they want for free. I think they do get a pass for the parkades. I didn't have this on authority, so I don't want to say it definitively. But my understanding is they do get some kind of pass. The city, in all of this kerfuffle with the firefighters, did specify that none of the staff get paid parking.
Right.
But I think council might get a pass. But I don't want to. I just don't want to cause any trouble by saying it too strongly if I'm wrong.
Right. You don't want to inflame the issue further.
Yeah, there you go.
But still, if that is true, then the optics change again. It's like, okay, so I would hate to, I mean, I know I'm poking the bear here, but I would hate to hear a first responder say, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it to the fire because I couldn't find parking. No, we know that's not the case. This is for them just to head to their shift. But still, maybe we could find some middle ground. And, if those parking spots are actually needed, maybe we take those 16 parking spots and we designate them for fire rather than the garden. And we put the garden somewhere else. Maybe there's other rooftops that we could put gardens on.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if they even said, we want those spots specifically. I guess they were just told by the city in their parking negotiations. Because I guess, again, if you missed that, firefighters, the Victoria firefighters downtown in the core area used to be given parking, I think at their old hall, but they've been shuffled out of it now and they don't get that anymore. It's a perk that's kind of gone. They were told there's nothing available. But then to hear that there is something available for free garden plots, I think is why they're sort of taking a bit of offense to it. This texter 71010 says, when there is parking for nurses at the hospital, then I feel sorry for firefighters who have had that benefit taken away. Mm-hmm. This texter at 71010 says, cry a river to help put out fires over free parking. Okay.
Before you're going, that's a good question. Do doctors and nurses get a discount, or do they get free parking at the hospital?
At the hospital? I don't know. But
it
if
would be sort of a similar vein, right?
Well, here's another text on that. And this texter says all nurses and healthcare workers have to pay for parking at the hospitals here, and there's no guarantee that there will be any spots available either.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
So maybe they don't. So.
Okay.
That's good. This texter here at 71010 says, how about they open up the parking lot behind the old Romeo's on Blanchard and Fisgard? It's been sitting empty for years and city-owned.
That was supposed to be a park.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it a garden.
Make that the garden.
Make it a fenced-off garden.
This texter says, firefighters could park at the YMCA as its slot is officially empty. Oh, you heard about the flood there, didn't you?
The extended pool that we have now?
Yeah, so the YMCA left its old historic downtown location on Quadra just back in March, and they moved their facilities into the Bay Center. We know that. The Y has moved. It's vacated that building because years ago that building was purchased by a developer. They plan to eventually redevelop it. But in the meantime, it's going to be used by the city as sort of like an extra pool because when they do the crystal pool renovations, they were going to use that as a temporary pool. But then, this week we heard that there's been a catastrophic flood.
Yes, the timing is ridiculous. When we think of where are people supposed to go now, but of all the time for it to happen is when it's really crucially needed.
Yeah, texter's pointing that out there. Oh, another text here saying we have to pay for parking as nurses. So, a lot of nurses are texting here to just point out we pay for our parking. So, interesting. I don't really know who's in the right, who's in the wrong, but I do think it's just interesting that this has kind of come out of that.
Well, there'll be more to come,
issue.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Digging in the dirt. We'll find out more. And, City Hall obviously will have a lot to say about this, possibly even as of today.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's City Council meeting day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, hey, 6:47. What else is happening in the world? But thanks for weighing in at 7:10:10 on that one. We'll continue the conversation shortly, but over to you in the headlines, Lisa.
Thank you. Blue Rewards members can now earn points at more than 1,700 Dollarama stores across Canada when you purchase $20 or more in store. BMO's announcement on this new partnership with the budget retail giant made several references to affordability as Canadians continue to grapple with inflation. Bruce Winder, a retail analyst, says the partnership comes at a time when many Canadians are focused on stretching budgets. Many people say they are shopping dollar stores more often. You must have a linked payment card to earn Blue Rewards points on Dollarama purchases. But the partnership, a notable shift because discounter retailers have historically placed less emphasis on loyalty programs. West Kelowna Fire Chief Jason Brolin says his community now has a deep understanding of wildfires, for better or worse. Brolin says more residents in the region have been evacuated before, or at least know someone who has. He cites the devastating 2023 McDougall Creek fire, which forced the evacuation of thousands of residents. He says the recent wildfire that started Tuesday amid the hot, windy weather quickly overwhelmed the small department's ability. So they called in help from both the City of Kelowna and the BC Wildfire Service to get the flames under control. And the Malahat Legion in Mill Bay hosting an all-ages charity bingo night in support of CMS Food Bank next week. The money raised will help Southern Cowichan Valley families access food during the summer months, a crucial time. It's a lean period for the Cobble Hill, Mill Bay, and Shawnican Lake Food Banks. The last bingo night raised over $4,400. That is enough for 400 meals for our friends and neighbors in the area. Speaking of giving to charities, we're also going to hear from Christine Goodser. Hewitt Goodser, she's our executive director at CFAX 1070 Santa's Anonymous. She will be live at 7:20, about half an hour from now, to talk about our latest fundraiser called Kids Count. That's your news to 6:49.
Going to turn our attention to international news for a moment and whether or not this war was worth it. We're talking about Iran and the United States conflict there. The U.S. president and Iran have apparently signed an agreement which outlines a possible path to Iran diluting its uranium stockpile, doing away with some American sanctions, and maybe ending the war, at least pausing while they sort out final details. There's been a lot said, though, over the last couple of days since this news came out about whether or not this is a win for Iran, a win for the U.S. Who comes out on top here? Was it even worth doing all of this in the first place? Somebody who always helps us sort this stuff out is Robert Springboard, Simon Fraser University professor of international studies. He's joining us next with a take.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday from 10 until 1, the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad because it's Father's Day on the following, the day, Sunday. So this is at all Thrifty Foods locations this Saturday, 10 to 1. Over to the traffic and weather, as our texters are letting us know, this is just ongoing, but we do have that Caledonia between Cook and Quadra gas line installation still causing trouble. There'll be flaggers directing traffic. That's just ongoing, but it's one of the things to watch out for as we get through the day. For the weather forecast today, we are looking at a sunny day with a high of 24, but cooler by the water with the wind blowing, but feeling a little warmer inland with a humidex at 25, so a bit of humidity back into the forecast for today. Right now, it's still a fairly moderate 11 degrees.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
A lot of people wondering, was this conflict in the Middle East, the U.S. attack on Iran, worth it in the end? Because we might be nearing the end with the U.S. and Iran signing an agreement this week, which could bring an end to hostilities. But let's look at that agreement and ask that question. Was it all worth it in the end? Robert Springborg is a Simon Fraser University adjunct professor with the School for International Studies. Love talking to him about this stuff. Robert, thanks for joining us.
Not at all, Ryan. Pleased to be here.
Right. Well, we got that big question hanging over this, and I've been reading think pieces all week about, did Iran really win this in the end? Is this a loss for the United States? And there's all these comparisons being made. But before we get into that, maybe could you just sketch us a quick picture of what the deal looks like so far and where it's at as of this morning?
Well, it has been signed. It was signed at the Versailles Palace yesterday, so it's gone into effect. Iran has already shipped out something like 5 million barrels of oil through the strait, so they are immediately taking advantage of the cessation of the American blockade on Iranian shipments. The really key issues, the nuclear one and the ultimate future of the Strait of Hormuz, those two cans were kicked down the road. And the real point was the reversion to the old American strategy that every American president has followed since Reagan, which was to offer lots of carrots to Iran in the hopes that they'd sort of come in from the cold. They become a state rather than a revolutionary movement, which is how Henry Kissinger phrased it. And every time it's failed. And so we're doubling down on a failed strategy when it seemed that Trump was sort of going to really apply the stick and finally force the Iranians to come to terms with the choice between state and revolutionary movement. In the end, he decided not to do that. So the Iranians have come out of it stronger than they went into it.
Now, there are two kind of stated goals. I mean, when this war started, it was a bit confusing as to what the U.S. was actually trying to achieve. But some of the stated goals we heard along the way were regime change and preventing Iran from reaching a nuclear weapon. Well, we did not really see a regime change. We saw the death of the Ayatollah, but another one has taken his place, and it's the same regime for all intents and purposes. And we're not necessarily seeing an end to the uranium enrichment, or at least, that's part of the deal. But like you said, it's been kicked down the road. So did any of those goals get achieved here?
No, not really. And the regime is dug in yet harder. And more than that, the agreement already to suspend some of the sanctions on Iran to allow cash to flow in, and a promise of a $300 billion sweetener fund, presumably to come from the very Arab states that Iran attacked, all suggest that the peoples of Iran may receive some benefits from the regime, but that will entrench it. Yet further, it won't necessarily transform it. Indeed, I suspect it would very much work in the opposite direction of causing them to say, look, we doubled down on a hard line, we won, so let's keep with that. As far as the Iranian missile capacity is concerned, which is another one of the key objectives, nothing whatsoever was said about that, nor was anything said about the Houthi presence in Yemen, the domination of Yemen, and therefore its capacity to close the Bab el-Mandab, the access to the Gulf of Suez. So the really hard issues have been kicked down the road without any real clear indication of how and if they're going to be resolved. And in the meantime, all these sweeteners have been offered. So it's a rather bizarre deal, given the fact that on the 28th of February, Trump listed all these objectives you mentioned, and then backed them up with attacks on Iran. So it's a rather perplexing situation.
Yeah, it does seem like, it's good that hostilities have ceased. Oil prices globally are coming down. Like you mentioned already this morning, that's good to hear that the Strait of Hormuz is seeing ships already moving. So, that's all positive, I guess. But you start to scratch your head and go, what was it all for? And a lot of people are characterizing this even as a bit of a loss for the United States, a loss of face, if nothing else. And maybe we'll leave it there. How does the U.S. emerge from this?
Much weakened, I think. It provides an opportunity for the Chinese to play now mediating roles in the region because, of course, the Arab states have paid huge penalties, or the Arab states of the Gulf paid huge penalties. So they're looking for alternatives. In the past, having cast their fate with America, they're going to have to expand their search for not only security, but for a state that can mediate between themselves and Iran, and that's not the United States. It's more likely to be China. So not only vis-a-vis Iran and vis-a-vis the Arab states, but also vis-a-vis China, the United States has come out of this worse than it went into it.
Oh, and I mentioned that was the last question, but I do want to ask one more. Sorry, I'm going to keep you for a few more seconds. Canada. Now, in the end of all of this, how do we emerge from this? Not that we were involved in the war, but I mean the global oil prices and Canada's position as an alternative supplier of energy to the world has certainly kind of come out of this. How do we play this?
Well, we come out of it rather better because it's clear that the Arab states are going to remain apprehensive about their access in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, and so they're going to do everything they can to diversify their access into the Gulf of Suez and out through the Suez Canal. But there are real limits on that because most of their oil goes to Asia. So the benefit to Canada is that we are an alternative supplier, and all alternative suppliers are going to be looked at much more carefully now by the global oil majors and indeed even some of the producers in the Gulf itself to see if they cannot then, in the case of Canada, develop export capacities directed towards Asia. So I think British Columbia in particular will do rather well out of this, paradoxically.
Well, thanks for sneaking that in. Much appreciated. But we're out of time. Robert Springborg, Simon Fraser University adjunct professor in the School of International Studies. Great to get a take on this big international story, which has been playing out this week. We'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, Ryan. Nice to talk to you.
All right. Well, we'll take a break. We got the 7 o'clock news next.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 7:02 on Thursday, June 18th. A warm day, a little humidity coming at us as well. We've got a temperature of 11 degrees right now. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
We got water woes in the city of Victoria confirming that the former YMCA building on Broughton and Quadra sustaining significant damage associated with an internal water leak. Director Parks and Rec, Derek Newman, says a leak was discovered on the third floor, and then the trickle-down effect happened.
The source of the leak, which was on the third floor of the facility in a utility closet, and a water line had broke. Their initial observations was significant amount of water had been cascading down the stairwells, through the walls, and through the ceilings. We don't have a detailed understanding of the extent of the damage at this point, but what we can say is that the first, second, and third floors all sustained water damage.
It was to serve as sort of an alternative during the remake of the Crystal Pool, but now the city is looking at what the cleanup is going to cost. Of course, there's safety issues to that too, and what the plan B will be if that can't be used. Across BC, when we move from water to wildfires, we have 16 active fires burning. We've had 7 fires start in just the last days, so the dry conditions continue. We do have a fire mid-island. That was around Port Alberni. It started just north of Port Alberni over the noon hour yesterday. Local fire department's gone on it quickly. It was a third of a hectare in size. It is now considered under control. Parliament is breaking for the summer later this week. In her end-of-session news conference, Green Party leader and Saanich and Gulf Islands MP Elizabeth May took aim at the Liberals.
The changes that are being made, and I know Canadians have confidence in the Prime Minister to deliver on economics, but I question the economic validity of much of what is being pushed through.
Elizabeth wants people to share their concerns.
This summer, please, everyone who's concerned about the things that they see beginning to happen here or happening quite rapidly, get involved. If there's a demonstration, show up, write your MP. Don't be silent. We're losing ground. Decades of work in environmental and health and safety and climate and Indigenous rights are being rolled back.
A new poll shows the number of Canadians who say they've been directly affected by climate change-related extreme weather events has increased by 23% in just the past year. So it's something that's certainly on our radar. Ministry of National Defence leader David McGuinty is in Brussels for a gathering today with his NATO counterparts. McGuinty says it's an important moment for this country.
Canada's particularly pleased to be here for the first time after meeting its 2% GDP target. Actually over 2%, and we're well on track for our 3.5% target, putting together the plans necessary to meet that target and, of course, the 5% target by 2035.
McGuinty added Canada remains dedicated to the NATO alliance, one that is strong, growing, and important. And here's a health reason to tune into CFAX this afternoon starting at 3 for that Canada versus Qatar World Cup game in Vancouver. It's at BC Place. The psychologists say these collective moments of joy that we experience in community can actually rewire your brain for a good way. Neurologist Dr. Leah Kroll says we feed on the emotional response from the collective and leaves a lasting impression, no matter how old you are or which team you're rooting for.
It certainly teaches us important and empowering life lessons about what's possible when you do believe in yourself, when you do work hard, and it definitely changes your brain chemistry.
She says you can tap into what the collective audience and fans are feeling, and all that is going to amplify your emotional experience and leave you with that rosy glow. Maybe you'll have a beer after that, too. That's your news at 7:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you about where you take a dip. Where do you prefer to swim? 29% say a lake, 22% say indoor pool, 6% say the ocean, and 43% say they don't go swimming. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 7:07.
I'll say it again. Whichever one of those bodies of water is the warmest is where you'll find me, just as long as it's not cold.
What if it's super, super hot at the beach? Say you're down on Dallas or something, or over at Willows, and it's so hot out, like it was last weekend. Does the water feel better?
No. Here's the thing. So I always think that. I'm like, oh, God, it's so hot. I'm so sweaty. I can't wait to, get down to my bathing suit and get into the water. And then I get down and I get into my bathing suit and I get close to the water. And as soon as I get there, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. the act of getting into my bathing suit and getting close to the ocean. Now I'm cooled off already, and now that water's looking really cold all of a sudden.
The shunning begins.
And then I start second guessing everything. I'm a wimp when it comes to cold water.
I'm with you in that column too. I don't know why. I think maybe it's a recessive gene or something. Because I know people that can just jump in, come on, it's fantastic. I'm like, you're nuts.
Yeah, agreed. Let us know. CFAX1070.com. It is the news poll. By the way, to find the news poll, just go to our main page and then scroll down a little bit. You'll find it right there on the main page. It's in a different spot than it used to be, which I think takes some people by surprise. But CFAX1070.com and scroll down. CFAX 1070 Sports. It's the big day for the World Cup for Canada because Team Canada is in action at BC Place Stadium playing Qatar. And one of the big questions about this game today has been around the captain of Canada's squad, Alphonso Davies. Well, it turns out he will be available to play today in our second game of the tournament. Let's find out more about that angle of the story with reporter Hannah Stoles, who's covering it.
Davies missed his team's World Cup opener while recovering from a hamstring injury from the Champions League semifinals. Coach Jesse Marsh says they'll see how the match goes and then make a decision on how to use him for the rest of the tournament. Davies hasn't played for Canada since March of 2025. Both Canada and Qatar have 1 point heading into their second match. Hannah Stoles, the Canadian Press.
And very excited to tell you that CFAX 1070 will broadcast the Canada match today at 3. So we'll have you that game on the radio. Other things going on for the World Cup. Mexico hosts South Korea in another Group A match today. This one's in Guadalajara. The match comes after the Mexican military shot down a drone that was flying near the South Korean training camp in Mexico. South Korea and Mexico won their opening matches in their group. Czechia and South Africa meet in the other Group A match. So that is all going on. Oh, and another match that's going on. Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina meet in the group, the Canada group. The other match today. That one's going on in LA. So those are all the matches today. A couple of them involve Canada, sort of, because you got the Canada match against Qatar, but then you've got that Switzerland-Bosnia-Herzegovina match as well, which will impact us in our group. That is what's happening at the World Cup. Real quick, just over to the Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team. They are in the middle of playing the Redmond Dudes. 2 games in now. Victoria won the first one. Last night it was the Dudes, though, taking the game 9-5. The third of the set is one of those school spirit games. It's an early start, 11:05 today at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. And that's your sports to 7:10. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 7:11 on this Thursday morning. Things are looking pretty smooth for the West Shore commute. We are seeing some volume delays build up, but nothing unusual at this time. You can text me at 71010 if you see otherwise, but no crashes or accidents. We do have the road work that's been plaguing downtown Victoria, or I guess just north of downtown for the last little while. We've got the ongoing gas line stuff at Caledonia between Quadra Cook there. We've got the full closure of Cook Street at Pandora. We've got the southbound closure of Cook Street from Hillside to Bay. So those things are all still going this week. And for the weather forecast today, let's look at that. Sunshine, highs at 24, a bit cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with some humidity re-entering the forecast. The winds all blew that away over the last few days, but now it's coming back. A humidex of 25 today, so it's not too severe, but still feeling a little muggy. Tonight, clear skies, lows to 11. Tomorrow, it's the exact same forecast again as today. Sunshine, highs of 24, slightly humid. Saturday, sunshine, highs of 20. Sunday, sunshine, highs of 24. Right now in Victoria, we're starting to see the temperatures creep up in some places, like the Colwood waterfront, where it is 15 degrees right now. In Oak Bay by the water, it is 14 degrees. On the markets, getting that first look at the results on the day. S&P TSX in Toronto so far down 13 points to 35,111. The Dow in New York is up 283 to 51,775. Canadian dollar at 70.8 cents US, which is down a little bit from yesterday's closes. The dollar continues to see a little bit of a slide.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, one of the things in the news this week is all about points. The points you receive as kind of loyalty programs or incentives from various retail outlets or stores or all these things. You had an interesting one in the news this week about was it the dollar store? No, the Dollarama?
Yeah, well, a discount store. You wouldn't think a discount store is going to offer you points, but I think BMO sees a really good partnership here. And so BMO has partnered with the $1,700 Dollarama stores across Canada. If you make a purchase of $20 or more, you can collect those blue reward points. If you have that card, if you got to tap it on your phone. It's a really interesting blend because usually they'd sort of, in the past, they've steered clear of the budget discount stores. Now they're coupling with them based on the fact that Canadians just are looking for a great deal to make purchases. And we know that Dollarama is a popular choice now. People go there to get a lot of their products because it can be cheaper for people. I don't know. When you do price comparison, of course, you have your favorites and where you go to buy things. But in June alone, Dollarama reported a first quarter profit of over $302 million. That's up from $274 million in the same quarter last year. So we are shopping dollar stores a lot. And BMO is getting on board with this. So your BMO Blue Rewards MasterCard apparently can earn additional points. If you have the points card, you can work it there. And it's interesting because we just had a poll come in the other day about how people view points. And a lot of people say they collect points, but many, about 50%, are saying they don't really feel it's making a dent in their wallet or in their budget because of the cost of things, the increase in the cost of things. It's stretching their budgets. So change is afoot in the retail market for sure when we have Dollarama offering points.
And also, you're saying that the points that they're offering are these blue rewards. That's the thing that Air Miles turned into, right?
Yes, I believe there's a connection there. The points have been changing too. I stopped collecting Air Miles because for me, depending on how you collect them, and we all have our particular points that we like to collect. I collect, what have I got here? I got my Scene card.
Oh, you got one of those?
I got one of those, Thrifties, right? And you also use this at the gas station too, right? I have a BCA Gold card, which gets me 3 cents off at the gas station. I collect Aeroplan points, but with Air Canada changing that vastly, as of 2026, now I look to see how much my points can get me, and I'm lucky if it can get me a flight to Kelowna.
So you just don't feel it's worth it?
Well, is it worth it to still collect and possibly cash in? Yes. You want to get the most bang for your buck. That's what it comes down to. So, what points are going to give you the best? Many people have traded in those, I gather, airline points to be able to fly somewhere for putting food on the table and gas in the tank points.
Right. Yeah, it's no longer for perks. It's just for necessities.
For our necessities, right? Yeah. So it's of interest that they've tagged on to a discount store because obviously BMO sees, they're obviously crunching the numbers to see just how many people are shopping at Dollarama. And these dollar discount stores and dollar stores, what we have. It's not unlike the U.S., too. It's the same thing. And Dollarama, of course, you've seen some price creep there. Everything is not $1. It's a misnomer now. Sometimes things are 2, 3, 4, 5.
I do feel like the name dollar store lost its meaning a long time ago.
Right. But you can still go in there and still find deals on certain things. Just simple, everyday, basic things. And they do carry a lot of food products as well. So depending on what you're shopping for, there can be better prices to be had there, depending on what it is. And also you're considering quality as well. But the points thing, that's new.
I just think that's interesting.
I do too.
How do points play into your life?
And what do you got in your wallet when it comes to points cards? Like to know. Because if you have one that you swear by that you think is giving you the better bang for your buck, let us know which one that is and share the wealth.
Yeah, let us know. It's 710.
We can all get on board.
I'm my only reaction to this is I kind of hit a little bit of a wall at some point where I just decided I just want to go to the grocery store and buy things. I don't want to have a membership card for every single store I go into, and then I got 18 cards that I got to carry around because if I go to the store and I want to get the sale price, I've got to have I got to have a card, or I've got a membership, or what do you mean?
I think we've all gone through that mentally. That fatigue, that bargain, the discount, the coupon clipping is basically what it is.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm just that's fine. Coupons are fine, but having to have a membership card and give a bunch of information over it's like having an app for everything. Whereas I don't want to download another app for a thing, and no more apps. I don't want another membership card to whatever. I'm at that stage. That's where I'm at.
So what do you have then? On that note,
what do I have? I mean, I think I have a 20-year-old Air Miles card that I can't use anymore, which I probably should get rid of. So I did have that.
Do you have like a Shoppers Point card?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No, I don't have. I mean, maybe I do somewhere, but I don't use it. I've been pushing back on those things.
Do you have a BCA card in case your car breaks down?
Nope.
Okay.
I got nothing. Well, actually, I do have one of those Costco MasterCards. You get some points for gas and food and stuff. But
there's always one.
There's that, I guess. But it's just a credit card that happens to be the one that they give you at Costco.
Yeah, if it's helping you put food in, you feel it's a small win, right? Okay, we've won something here. You can have $10 back, and you feel kind of like a king or queen leaving the store for a moment. It's those little perks throughout the day, and they do come our way. If you're going to have to shop anyway, have one of those cards.
Anyways,
and collect the points. I know we're way over time.
We should probably do the news.
Let's do that thing.
But yeah, let us know what you think at 7:10. Over to Lisa. What's going on?
Let's talk cash. Soon on its way to millions of Albertans, courtesy of their province. Premier Danielle Smith says instead of the government reducing the provincial gas tax, it will issue $100 payments to ensure elevated oil revenues will benefit most people in the province. She says nearly 3.4 million adults will be eligible for the money and can start applying online for the payments starting July 1st. The U.S. president signing a deal with Iran that calls for Tehran to dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and waives U.S. banks' sanctions on the country, immediately allowing Iran to sell its oil freely. In a major concession from Washington, according to details released by both countries, the White House had planned a signing tomorrow in Switzerland, but now the fate is uncertain with conflicting information from both the U.S., Iran, and Pakistan. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth lashing out at NATO allies today, announcing a 6-month Pentagon review of U.S. forces in Europe, whose outcome will depend on how fast the Europeans take responsibility for their own security. So more to come on that, as well as Kuzma. That is your headline news to 7:20.
Thank you, Lisa. Lots of people weighing in on the points question, so we'll get to that at 7:10 coming up in a little bit. So stand by. We'll get to your comments, but we should take a quick break here, get our traffic and weather, and then a cool announcement from CFAX, Santa's Anonymous, and the Kids Count program, which is our way of helping out around the community beyond Christmas. That's Kids Count. What's the latest news? Christine Goodsir, Executive Director, joining us in a moment. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. What's going on out there? Let's take a look at the roads. I've got a text here at 71010 who points out there are roadworks going into Victoria, Government Street, Broad, Blanchard, Quadra, Cook. Delays all over the place. It's torture. Yeah, it's sort of hard because I've been trying to give out as many of these construction delays going in and out of the city as I can, but there's so many to keep up with. I think I like this text. Just there's you got Government, you got Blanchard, you got Quadra, you got Cook, you got it all over the place. So just watch out for delays, I guess, is the short story against the construction. It's summer months. Sunshine and a high of 24 today is the forecast. A little cooler by the water, but feeling a little humid. We got some humidity back into the day, a humidex of 25. That means it's a 24-degree high temperature, but feeling like 25 in the humidity. That's how you read that. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11, and then the exact same daytime forecast for tomorrow as today. It's just going to be pretty stable for the next few days here.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Santa's Anonymous, proud to be announcing another way we're helping out around Greater Victoria. And here to tell us about it is Christine Goodsir, the Executive Director of CFAX Santa's Anonymous. Christine, hello.
Good morning.
Great to get you here and great to have some good news to share because we're announcing one of the ways we're helping out. Why don't you take it away? Give us the announcement. What's going on today?
Well, Kids Count is our children's grant program, and we are very pleased to announce that this week we are funding $20,000 towards Big Brothers Big Sisters mentoring program. And this is an amazing, life really institution. I mean, when you think about the generations truly of kids that have been helped through this, it helps children in ways that we can't imagine. And children that are, where families experience financial stress or there's been a breakdown in the household, mental illness, separation or divorce, and just to have that sturdy adult in their lives mentoring them one-on-one is just an incredible gift.
Wow, okay, and the $20,000 grant, this is from Kids Count, which is the way CFAX Santa's Anonymous likes to help out children and families around Greater Victoria beyond Christmas.
That's correct. Since 2002, the Children's Grant Program in our community, if our fundraising is successful, takes the time to see where certain other organizations that support children need a boost, need a hand up, fell short on funding, or are starting a new organization to help. So since that time, we're talking over $3.5 million that CFAX, Santa's Anonymous, and Kids Count has given in the community in those 24 years. So it's a big deal, and we want to share it with everybody and make sure that they know the difference that they make when they support Santa's Anonymous and when they can see what we do with our donors' money.
Big Brothers Big Sisters, the latest recipient of a grant from CFAX Santa's Anonymous, and the Kids Count program, doing great work with children in Victoria and really helping give those supports out there. And a way you can help support all this, Christine, is by going to the website cfaxsantas.com, and you can donate any time of year to Kids Count. And the cool thing is if you go and do it that way, you get a breakdown of where you can send the money. Like maybe things like this Big Brothers Big Sisters kind of program, maybe this is where you would like to support. Or maybe you would rather support things like food insecurity in the community and the way CFAX Santa's helps there for families. Or maybe you think, mental health supports. There's all these different ways that you can support people, and you can actually direct your funding into those different ways just there on the website.
That's right. It's our 5 funding focuses, and this is with a team of people who've been together for a very long time. Our very own Lisa Best, of course, is on that funding committee, and we take a lot of time to examine what requests have come in and look at what the needs are in the community. So definitely under Big Brothers Big Sisters, a donation to mental wellness is going to be directed to mental wellness and groups like Big Brothers Big Sisters. Last week, our announcement to Burnside Gorge Community Program's Fresh Food Program, those were a focus where you could go to hunger. And so when you go to the website, you can pick one, you can pick two, you can pick three. It's quite fun, actually. If you're donating $200, you can actually give money to each one of them.
Yeah, you can split it up. Yeah. No, it's such a
split it up.
It's really cool, and it's a new thing that you can find on the website. Go to cfaxsantas.com. You can just check it out there. It's a new way to support, and it's all under the Kids Count name there on the website. And Christine, we got to leave it there, but exciting news. Thank you so much for joining us to share the update.
Thank you.
All
right. Bye-bye.
That's Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santa's Anonymous. We got lots of people texting in about points cards, as just because in the news, Dollaramas are getting in on the points card thing, and we're just thinking that's an interesting development, and are these a big thing in your life? We're getting lots of responses. We'll get back to that conversation in a moment after this 7:30 news.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BC SPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
$7:31 on Thursday, June 18th. Let's take a look at the news. And here is Lisa Best.
Sunny, gorgeous day again today. Summer starts this weekend, and many of us thinking of hitting the road. Are you thinking of renting an RV once summer starts? We're all craving cheaper ways to get away from it all. Shane Devish with the Canadian Recreational Vehicle Association says if you're looking to rent a motorhome or trailer, you should give careful consideration to your travel needs and your budget, and plan your trip with an eye on everything from RV size to campground location and where the electrical hookups will be.
You want to plot your route before you go. You don't want to do it day by day, and you don't want to drive too far. You really want to experience the whole trip, right? So if there's points of interest, you want to do some research on that. When I was traveling, I typically didn't want to go over 5 hours, so between 500 and 600 kilometers.
Rates at big rental agencies such as Canada Dream and Fraser Way range from $100 to $400 a day on top of the mileage package in advance. And of course, we're looking at gas prices anywhere from $1.89 to $2.189 currently locally for a liter of fuel in Greater Victoria. The debate over the proposed community garden at Johnson Street Parkade has taken another twist. The Victoria Firefighters Association says the city recently rejected their parking proposal idea because dedicated firefighter parking was deemed an unreasonable use of public assets. The city says operational requirements continue to be met through the provision of adequate parking available at all fire station locations, and that no city staff in the downtown core are providing free parking. The union has engaged the grievance process with the city and says this is the appropriate avenue to address the matter. City Hall meeting today, so probably one of the topics of discussion around that table. Up Island, RCMP making a breakthrough in a case involving damage to the Port Alberni Pacific Railroad, a 1930s vintage rail car, bright yellow, going up in flames Tuesday. Witness spotting 3 suspects running from the scene. Video caught them climbing on the rail car before the fire. Moments after, smoke and flames were visible. RCMP did arrest 3 suspects, all teens. The same rail car had been vandalized the previous week as well. An internal water leak at the 3rd floor of the former YMCA building in downtown Victoria on Broughton Street in Quadra has thrown a wrench into the city's plans for swimming. The building sustained significant damage in all 3 floors. There was a water leak that they didn't notice in a closet on the 3rd floor, and there's a trickle-down effect to that. Director of Parks and Rec, Derek Newman, says they're now looking at the impacts of the flooding and that the facility was supposed to sub for the Crystal Pool.
The city is currently undertaking plans and designs to do some renovations to the facility that would allow us to transition our recreation services over there while we're constructing the new pool. Unfortunately, this incident is a bit of a setback for us, and we need to understand the implications of this water damage and what remediation might look like before we can understand whether there's any impacts to those plans.
Says immediate focus is, of course, on safety-related issues in the building. Most experts doubt the U.S. would suddenly leave the CUSMA trade agreement, despite U.S. President's comments in France yesterday suggesting otherwise. Trump told a reporter after the G7 summit he would rather not have the agreement in place.
I would prefer not having an agreement, but I'm open to doing it. We'll see what happens.
So as of now, it's just going to stick around for 10 years. You're okay with that?
No, it's not sticking around. It'll be terminated. In other words,
after a decade.
It expires.
Yeah, in a decade.
I prefer that. I view it as possibly expiring immediately.
Johns Hopkins University's Christopher Sands says CUSMA's July 1st date is a milestone, not a deadline. When all the parties lay their cards on the table, we'll see what the cards are being played. Spirits are high. Pubs across the pond are promising the beer won't stop. It'll continue to flow. World Cup excitement is peaking in Vancouver today. Canada is set to take on Qatar in their second game of the tournament at 3 o'clock our time. More coming up in sports. But there's a health benefit, not just to being there, but to watch. Psychologists say these collective moments of joy and community actually rewire your brain. And neurologist Dr. Leah Kroll explains it doesn't matter if you're watching live or on TV.
So the brain doesn't necessarily do a great job of distinguishing between actual physical participation and emotional investment when it comes to sports.
Of course, you're listening on CFAX as well as 3. We'll bring you the action live coming from BC Place. We're also going to talk to soccer guy Steve. He's taken the new mantle. Soccer guy, he's live at 8:20.
Soccer guy Steve?
He's over there. He's heading over
He's
there.
on a
anyways.
ferry right now as we speak. I've been texting him. He's on the ferry.
We put a tracker on him. Poor Steve. That's your news to 7:36.
He actually texted because we were talking about him earlier, and he texted, it's like, I'm listening, guys. I'm at the ferry terminal.
His ears are burning?
Yeah, his ears are burning.
All right. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking about swimming with the water woes going on. Crystal Pool going down. Now we've the YMCA going down. And where do you prefer to swim anyway, locally? An indoor pool, a lake, the ocean, or you don't go swimming? You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 7:37.
Thank you, Lisa. What are your thoughts about points cards and all those loyalty programs? We're going to get back to that conversation in just a moment here on a Thursday. First, though, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. So much World Cup action to talk to you about, including the fact that the Canada game today is going to be live right here on the radio on CFAX 1070. We'll be playing Canada versus Qatar. 3 o'clock is when the kickoff is. So if you need it on the radio, we've got you covered. But let's talk a bit more about that. We're also talking about the fact that captain of Team Canada, Alphonso Davies, has been cleared today for the match, although exactly how long he'll play, that's got to be seen. It's a pivotal match, though. All 4 countries in Canada's pool are tied with 1 point apiece, and we're also going to see Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina meet in the group's other match in Los Angeles. So, big day for Canada soccer. Mexico today also will host South Korea in a Group A match today in Guadalajara. A bit of drama there because the Mexican military shot down a drone that flew near the South Korean training camp leading into this game. Mexico and South Korea won their opening matches. Czechia and South Africa meet in the Group A's other match. And hydration breaks getting in the news again because in Toronto yesterday, it wasn't involving Team Canada, but Toronto hosted the Ghana-Panama game. Ghana wins 1-0. But during the hydration breaks that they're taking, everybody was booing. Big boos in Toronto over the hydration breaks. I think it might have had something to do with the fact that it was raining and it was cold.
Mother Nature was trying to hydrate them?
Yeah, it was kind of a chilly one, and then they still took the hydration break, and fans were showing their disapproval at the World Cup in Toronto. For baseball, the Victoria Harper Cats and Redmond Dudes faced off again last night, and Redmond had the win, 9-5 over Victoria. The Harper Cats took the opening game, so they've split the series so far. The third game will go this morning at 11:05. It's their school spirit game at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. And that's your Sports 2, 739. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. All right, traffic and weather. Lots of different road works in and out of Victoria. Cook Street, you got the southbound closure, Hillside to Bay, which is on today as they continue to pour the concrete for the bike lanes. You got the full closure of Cook Street, both directions at Pandora. That continues. You got the gas work, Caledonia Quadra area. You got the road works going on Government, which has blocked southbound from Pembroke. There's all these things. It's hard to keep up with it all, as texters keep mentioning. It's just anytime you try to get in and out of the city right now, it seems every route has got some kind of obstruction. The good news is the Bay Street Bridge is open fully, both directions. The overnight closure is over for this morning. It'll be back closed again tonight, though, for one more of these overnight closures, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Again, that's the Bay Street Bridge in Victoria. No sailing waits at BC Ferries, and for the weather forecast, warm and sunny today. Highs at 24, cooler by the water, but a humidex at 25, so feeling like 25 degrees with a little extra humidity in the air today. Overnight lows tonight of 11 with clear skies, and right now the temperatures around Victoria are looking kind of like this. In Swan Lake area of Saanich, it's already 16 degrees. The official temperature at the airport, Sydney North Saanich area, is 14 degrees. On the markets, what's going on? S&P TSX in Toronto down 60 points so far today to 35,064. The Dow in New York is up 226 to 51,719. NASDAQ up 355 to 26,377. And the Canadian dollar continues to slide to 70.8 cents US.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, and by the way, CFAX 1070 proud to be supporting the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest, which kicks off tomorrow. And then following tomorrow is 10 hot nights and cool days, the other way around.
Depending on the show.
There's hot days. It's just hot days and hot nights of great music. We've got another of the Jazz Fest artists. This is Snack Time, a cool band that's going to be performing. We're going to talk to one of the members in just a few minutes.
Going to make you hungry for more.
And then just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, traffic, weather, business, all that, we're going to give away another 4-pack of tickets to see one of the Jazz Fest artists. If you scat for us, you got to call in and perform a little jazz improv.
Show us your chops.
Exactly. So that's coming up just after 8. Stand by for that. But right now, let's get back to our conversation we've been having to do with points programs and loyalty programs at different stores. We have in the news this week that Dollarama now has one. They're doing that thing that Air Miles became. And I think that was one of the biggest parts of the story for me, was just reminding everybody that Air Miles went away, kind of, but they've become Blue Rewards. So I don't think
they've migrated.
Yeah, our Air Miles didn't end. They've just become something else, which I was a bit surprised by. But anyway, so that's what they can do there now. What do you think about all these things? And what do you think about the idea that points programs are now at even dollar stores? This texter at 71010 says, I think the best is PC Optimum. Okay, thank you for weighing in. This texter says, I have a Scotiabank Amex that works with Scene Plus.
Okay.
I just paid for a cruise in Europe.
What?
And went to Scene to apply points to the travel. And to my surprise, they got kicked out over $1,000. That's cool.
What?
So I guess these things can pay off.
You win.
This
excellent.
This texter says PC Optimum and Canadian Tire points have helped me with clothing and food and groceries and gas. That's cool. And then some texters are weighing in on my point of view, which is that I'm just sort of overloaded and fatigued, and I'm just kind of pushing back onto these cards. This texter says, I've never had points cards. My personal info habits are not for sale. This texter says, Ryan, some of these drive me nuts. You got to have an app and a card. And yeah. There's another one.
If you go, you sit down, clip coupons the old school way, right? Except we're doing digitally now. It's the same kind of thing, but they do track your purchases. There's a positive and a negative side to that. You feel like it's invasive at times, but at the same time, if something that you like to buy frequently is on sale, they'll sometimes prompt you about it. So that saves time and energy for you going to look for it, and then you know when to buy to get the best deal possible. So column A, column B in that department.
Yeah. Thanks for weighing in at 71010. You can keep the conversation going. Right now, let's get to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. Saanich getting some help from the federal government for a remake of the Brett Sewer Lift Station. The federal government throwing in $1.2 million for the development of some detailed design work to decommission the existing lift station and the construction of a modern replacement facility. The work will assist in expanding capacity for future housing development in the Brett Sewer Service area. Nanaimo RCMP asking for tips following the theft of a shotgun from a parked vehicle earlier this month. It happened sometime after midnight, Saturday, June 6. Police say the rear passenger window was smashed out of a pickup truck parked in the 100 block of Cameron Road near the Maritime Museum. They stole a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun, a blanket, and a bank card. CCTV imagery shows a male suspect walking up to the vehicle around 3 that morning. And he's vague description. He's white, wearing black clothing and white runners. If you know anything, you can contact Nanaimo RCMP's non-emergency line. And the kickstand's up for Veterans Life After Service Motorcycle Run. Happens locally this weekend. It's a poker run. The event starts at 8:30 Saturday morning. There's some snacks on hand for you before kickstands go up at 10:30. The $40 registration fee supports the service dog program via the BC and Alberta Guide Dogs. Veterans ride for free, as do first responders. Riders also asked to bring a non-perishable food donation for the Veterans Food Bank. That's your news at 7:47.
Texture 71010 says they like the co-op membership. Yeah, that's another good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, you get points and savings there for sure. Coming up, Let's talk Jazz Fest, because the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest is kicking off tomorrow. And one of the bands, which will play actually a week from Friday, so this is June 26th, at the field they've got in Esquimalt Bullen Park. That's one of the big outdoor stages for Jazz Fest. They've been doing this for a couple of years, kind of bringing it out of the downtown core. They got that field. And there's a band called Snack Time. Snack Time is a 7-piece soul funk alternative band from Philadelphia. And we're going to be talking to one of their members in just a few moments. And then right after the 8 o'clock news, we got a 4-pack of tickets to give away to a show as well. So stand by for a lot of Jazz Fest here on the radio next.
Next time on the TED Radio Hour.
Richard Reeves is unimpressed by online influencers who peddle ideas about hyper masculinity.
You're talking about boys and men. We're actually doing stuff for them. You're good on podcasts, but where's your policy agenda? We've actually done a bunch of stuff for boys and men. Sorry, what have you done?
Ideas about the next era of manhood. That's next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
TED Radio Hour. Listen Sundays on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
CFAX traffic and weather brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday from 10 until 1, the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations. On the roads, some traffic snags for Victoria, but they're all those construction-related things. We got Cook Street, we got parts of Quadra Street, we got parts of Government Street. Everywhere's got some construction right now. But otherwise, other than that, there's no crashes, accidents, or other problems this morning. The West Shore commute is looking pretty typical. There's congestion, but there are no specific issues other than just it being busy. And for the BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. The weather forecast for Greater Victoria, looking at a sunny day today, highs of 24, a little cooler by the water, but a bit of humidity in the air today, so it'll feel a little warmer with a humidex of 25. Clear skies tonight, lows down to 11. Tomorrow, it's the exact same forecast again.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you.
There's a Snack Time.
If you should ever
doing a Beach Boys cover there, and that's one of the bands coming to Jazz Fest. This is not tomorrow, but the next Friday, June 26th. They'll be performing at Bullen Park as part of Jazz Fest, and proud to get on the line with us right now, one of the members of the band, Sam Gellerstein, is the bass player. He also plays something called a sousaphone. I think I'm saying that right. Sam, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Great to talk to you. So welcome, by the way. And once you get to Victoria, I'm assuming you're not here yet. We're glad to get you guys here as Snack Time arrives. What is a sousaphone?
It's funny. So the sousaphone is a tuba that you kind of stand with, and the sound of the band for very many years was was sort of this sousaphone put through effects pedals to kind of mimic the sound of a bass. But over the past couple of years, we've been sort of reformatting the sound and sort of leaning more into more of a bass role these days. So I'll be playing bass and keyboard bass, but the sousaphone is what I used to play in the early phases of the band. But we still have a ton of horns. We have saxophone, trombone, and trumpet, so it's going to be a really great time.
I was listening to some clips. I mean, I played one there, but I watched some live clips of you as well. It looks like, you got this big band. You're doing this kind of really funky alternative thing, but you got all the horns. And that really seems to be one of the things that characterizes your act, as well as, you get a little bit of rap, a little bit of rock, you got some punk, you got the R&B. It seems like there's this really cool fusion going on with your band.
Yeah, and, you guys will be the first some of the first people to hear a lot of this new music, and we are still keeping a lot of the influence. We're a band of 7 people from different, experiences in music, so we do have a ton of different influences, but you guys will be some of the first people to hear a lot of this new music, and we've really kind of focused in on this new sound, and you can expect still a lot of soul, a lot of funk, a lot of rock, a lot of pop, and it's going to be a really good experience, and it's going to make you all move for sure.
Sam, you were one of the best things to come out of the pandemic when it hit Philadelphia, it seems. You reinvented the wheel with music.
We really tried our best. We started the band basically as a response to the COVID-19 shutdowns, and there was not a lot of music going on. But in the early days, when we were just playing a lot of horns in the streets, we didn't have a PA, we didn't have any amplifiers, so we just go out and take the streets and play for people out who were eating outside, and it slowly but surely turned into kind of a movement. And we started with maybe 10 people listening to us, and then towards the end of those early days of playing in the streets, you have a couple hundred people out there just dancing, and it was a really special moment for Philadelphia, and we're so grateful for it. And that kind of led us to be able to start to do these festival dates, these tour dates, and we're so grateful for it, for the experience that we had in the early days of Philly.
Is this your first time to Victoria?
It is. When I was a kid, I did a jazz camp at Port Townsend in Washington. I know that's not too far from Vancouver, so we are really excited to come down to the west side of Canada. Actually, a friend of mine, I was having coffee with him this morning. He's a great chef. He told me to go to Zambres, and I believe that is in Victoria. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah, that's good. Good recommendation. I will second that recommendation. Good spot.
So yeah, but we love Canada. We've done, as a band, we've done Ottawa, we've done Montreal last year. We'll be all over Canada for the rest of the summer as well, and we love Canada. I mean, you guys are so kind out there, and truly an amazing kind of place. So we're excited to explore Victoria.
You talked about how we're going to be the first to hear some new stuff. What is this? Where's the band going now? You mentioned that you started as the street party during COVID, and it grew from there. What has it grown into? What can we expect out of your show at Bullen Park, which is the Jazz Fest stage you'll be on next Friday, June 26th? What kind of show are we expecting?
So expect a lot of you guys got to come to dance. We love playing for people who want to dance, but the band has a couple different gears. We play some music that makes you move, makes you dance. Also, we want you all to hopefully check out some of the music that's already out there, sing along with us, but also we'll rock pretty hard. And kind of expect like an amalgamation of think Prince meets Phil Collins, but with also some Sly and the Family Stone in there also. It's like a little bit of that. We're so inspired by all sorts of music, but definitely come with your dancing shoes.
Sam, where do we talk to you right now? Are you in Philadelphia?
I'm in Philadelphia sitting at our studio. We are actually about to get to rehearsal soon for this upcoming run. So, yeah.
We have a contest going on where listeners have to scat in order to win tickets to the Jazz Festival. What's your thoughts on that? Is scat something you just pick up naturally? Is it a...
You're talking about scat singing?
Yeah.
So it's really funny you say that. I don't think it's I think singing is a natural thing. I think the artistry of scatting is obviously something to be studied with the icons. Ella Fitzgerald, of course, is one of them. But I was told by a teacher very early on when I was still playing trombone back in the day. He came from the school of thought where is if you could sing it, you can play it. So I do believe that if more people were a little less intimidated by singing, they'd be able to realize that music is very, anyone can do it. Anyone can join the band. You don't have to be a amazing musician, amazing instrumentalist to be able to sing along. And, so we count on that. So do I think it's a challenging thing to do? At a professional level, sure. But I think if someone has the love of music and you could recognize the songs you want to sing, I think you could pick up a little bit of scat soloing, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get a listener to do some scat soloing for us just after 8 o'clock, calling in to win tickets to Jazz Fest. But that's Sam Gellerstein. He is with the band Snack Time, performing as part of the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. They're coming up next Friday at Bullen Field. It's been a pleasure to meet you and learn more about your band, and I'm looking forward to your show next week. Thanks so much for doing this and joining us.
Can't wait to see you guys. See
Thanks,
you at Zambies in the show.
Yeah, and enjoy the restaurants.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
This is awesome. Love it. That's great. We will be just go on a little bit more of that. You hear the horns there. Okay, so call in for the tickets just after 8 o'clock. We'll get to that, but right now we got to make room for the 8 o'clock news.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Thursday, June 18th. We've got sunshine and a little bit of humidity coming into the forecast today. We'll get you a full look at the weather in just a moment, but right now the news begins. And here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. Most experts doubt the U.S. would suddenly leave the CUSMA trade agreement despite the U.S. president's comments suggesting otherwise.
U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters at the G7 summit in France he would rather not have the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement in place.
But I may sign it,
right?
But we do better as a country if we don't have an agreement.
So are you thinking of...
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe we won't be able to make a deal.
He also said he views it as, quote, possibly expiring immediately. Johns Hopkins University's Christopher Sands says CUSMA's July 1st date is a milestone, not a deadline. Renew CUSMA for 16 more years, withdraw entirely, or do neither. Because of how integrated many North American industries are, most experts doubt that the U.S. would be quick to exit the trade pact. Jason White, the Canadian Press.
Meantime, both Mark Carney and Donald Trump opening up about some of their wide-ranging quick side chats at the G7. CTV's Michael Couture says the Chinese EV story was explained.
And he likes the structure, actually. We had a follow-up conversation about it as well.
I don't know that I said I like it. Would I rather see a cap than no cap? Yeah, I would.
Carney says the two leaders had several conversations, but none of them included the CUSMA renewal.
I would rather not have the agreement, but I may sign it. We do better as a country if we don't have an agreement.
So are you thinking of...
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe we won't be able to make a deal. I would rather not have the USMCA.
Bigger discussions at the G7 was the Iran deal.
Carney did call it a game changer. We've since learned the deal has been signed by both the U.S. and Iranian presidents, but murky waters still swirl around that MOU. A women's advocacy organization and several other groups that support gun control are urging the Prime Minister to fully implement a key facet of the firearm legislation that passed 30 months ago.
The measure would make a person who is subject to a protection order ineligible to hold a firearms license while the order is in effect. A protection order is often issued in intimate partner violence cases. The provision is intended to quickly remove firearms from the hands of abusers at the time when they are often the most dangerous. The government says the term protection order has to be defined in regulation, also noting that record-keeping and reporting requirements must be brought into force to fully implement the changes. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
A parliamentary committee recommending against letting people with a mental illness access medical assistance in dying are made. Many of the witnesses who testified at hearings earlier this year urged the committee to permanently exclude people with psychiatric conditions. Saanich Gulf Islands MP Elizabeth May says she's studying the recommendations, but thinks more needs to be addressed.
We can't make it easier to choose medical assistance in dying than continuing to live with the quality of life supports that every Canadian is entitled to expect. So I'm not surprised by this joint committee's report, but it remains to be seen how it will be received by the House, by the Senate, by the government.
Justice Minister Sean Fraser says he will review the recommendations and testimony leading up to a decision. The head of Apple is warning purchasing their products could soon take a bigger bite out of your wallet.
CEO Tim Cook says customers should expect price hikes, telling the Wall Street Journal they're unavoidable. Cook did not say when the increases will take place or on which products they'll affect, but he did tell the Journal the upcoming price hikes are being caused by an ongoing shortage of memory and storage chips.
And here's a health reason to listen to CFAX starting at 3 this afternoon as we bring you the game live from BC Place, Canada versus Qatar in the World Cup. Psychologists say these collective moments of joy and community, whether you're there live, watching TV, or listening on the radio, can actually rewire your brain. Neurologist Leah Kroll says we feed on the emotional response from the collective that leaves a lasting impression, no matter how old you are or which team you're rooting for.
It certainly teaches us important and empowering life lessons about what's possible when you do believe in yourself, when you do work hard, and it definitely changes your brain chemistry.
She says you tap into what the collective audience and fans are feeling, and all that is going to amplify your emotional experience and usually leave you with a rosy glow, especially if your team wins. That's your news to 8:05. Here, CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, where do you prefer to go for a swim? 20% say an indoor pool will do. 31% say a lake. Only 6% say the ocean. And 43% don't go swimming. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. We are moments away from opening up the phone lines and taking a caller at 250-386-1161 to scat for Jazz Fest tickets. You got to just perform a little scat for us. And if you do, a 4-pack of tickets today to B Trio, who play June 23rd. They are the Jazz Fest artist we're giving away tickets for. If you want to win, we're going to open up those phone lines in just a moment. First, though, to the sports, and let's start with our World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Canada hits the pitch today for its second game at the World Cup, and superstar Alphonso Davies will be available to come off the bench after missing Canada's opening match against Bosnia.
He'll be available tomorrow, and we'll see how the match goes and then make a decision on how we would choose to use him.
That's Canadian coach Jesse Marsh. Canada and Qatar both sitting on 1 point as they meet at 6 p.m. Eastern from Vancouver Stadium. The other two teams in Group B, Bosnia and Switzerland, will meet at 3 Eastern in Los Angeles. Yesterday, England got its World Cup off to a smashing start as Harry Kane scored twice in a 4-2 win over Croatia. Game 2 in rainy Toronto Stadium saw Ghana score in stoppage time to defeat Panama 1-0. Favored Portugal was held to a 1-1 draw by Congo, and Colombia defeated Uzbekistan 3-1. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go. And by the way, CFAX 1070 will be broadcasting Canada's game today with that 3 o'clock kickoff right here on the radio. So radio broadcast coming your way for the World Cup. Real quick, just as we're doing sports, I'll mention the Victoria Harbour Cats in action last night. Lost to the Redmond Dudes at the Royal Athletic Park Wilson's Group Stadium. It was a 9-5 score for Redmond. Victoria took the opening match, though, of these 3 games. So they've split so far. Last game today, it's actually this morning, 11:05 is the start time at Wilson's Group Stadium at Royal Athletic Park for the School Spirit game. Let's do it now. Let's open up the phone lines at 250-386-1161. Call now if you want to scat for me to win tickets to see a Jazz Fest act. This time it's B Trio. They are going to be the 4 tickets we give away in just a few moments. So if you want them, call me now and perform a little scat action. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, right now it's fairly congested trying to get from the West Shore into Victoria, but it seems like it's just typical volume delays, no crashes or other unusual things facing you. Just a lot of volume for downtown Victoria. Things are looking all right other than, you got the Quadra delays, you got the Cook delays, you got the government delays because of all the different construction projects. So it's slow going, but it's just construction, no specific issues. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. BC Ferries, no sailing waits. And for the weather forecast, sunny with a high of 24 today. A little cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with the humidity. We're getting some humidity back into the day. It's a humidex of 25 today. So temperature is going to top out at 24 on the dial, but it'll feel like 25 in that humidity unless you're by the moderating ocean breezes of the Juan de Fuca Strait. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11, and then tomorrow mainly sunny. And then the same story, same temperatures, basically the same day again tomorrow. Right now for temperatures around the region, if you are in the, let's go to Langford, where it is 14 degrees, and in the Cordova Bay area of Saanich, it is 15 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX down 86 points at this hour to 35,038. The Dow in New York is up 271 to 51,764. The NASDAQ is up by 355 to 26,377. Canadian dollar at 70.8 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
250-386-1161. That's the number to call if you want to scat, perform for us, a little jazz scat, in order to win tickets to see B Trio. That's the Jazz Fest artist we're going to give away. This is the one that involves Bella Fleck, by the way. Bella Fleck, who has performed in a number of different ways, including with the Fleck tones back in the day.
Gail, I was actually on with Josh and Jade yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, he spoke. Yeah, follow the Josh and Jade sound bites at CFAX1070.com if you want to hear them speak. But this is a little bit how they sound right now. Bella Fleck going on the banjo there. You got drums, you got harp, the banjo.
It's a really great combo.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool thing. So Bella Fleck with B Trio here, they are going to be performing at Jazz Fest. That show is June 23rd. So that is coming up next week on Tuesday. I got a 4-pack of tickets to give away. Do you want to win? Well, you got to scat. Here's an example of what we're looking for. Patty was our winner yesterday, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Patty's performance. Let me just get this up here.
Okay.
So there you go.
She kind of slid in, and then there was breathiness. I thought it was
great.
a really good rendition of scat singing.
What will we get today? Let's go to the phones. They're open now. Let's pick a random caller. I think I got a line here. Hello, who's this?
Hi, Gordon.
Gordon?
Hey, Gordon.
So did you just hear Patty yesterday doing a performance for us to win tickets?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, so here's what happened. We're going to play a drum track for you, a little jazz drums. Mm-hmm. And if you can perform a jazz scat for us, I'll give you tickets. But you got to work for it. Are you ready to do it?
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to play the drums. Once you hear the drums, just give us your best scat. Here, let's go. Gordon, you're just drumming. Gordon,
okay. So
I already have drums.
Gordon, do you understand what you would have to do to scat?
Can I do some singing?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for you to just sort of like Ella Fitzgerald, just sort of babbling words. Have some fun with it.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
When the jazz man's playing, take my blues away. When the jazz man's signifying, the band is winding low. It's the late tide of morning in the darkness of the soul.
Gordon, we're gonna give you the tickets. I think though, Google searched the term scat.
Yeah.
And
but you're getting definitely an A for effort.
Yeah, A for effort. We're gonna give you the tickets. You got 4 tickets to see Bella Fleck. Much appreciated, Gordon.
Fantastic. I'll be better next time.
Okay.
So you in the crowd, we're going to hear you singing.
You're gonna
scatting along.
You're gonna nail it, Gordon. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna get to the news, but another 4-pack of tickets to give away tomorrow. You just got to scat for us, or whatever. Just give it A for effort. We're gonna give you tickets. That's the bottom line. All right, Lisa.
I got nothing.
Lisa, take it away.
West Kelowna Fire Chief Jason Brolin says his community now has a very deep understanding with wildfires, for better or worse. Brolin says most residents in the region have been evacuated before or know someone who has. He cites the devastating McDougall Creek wildfire 3 years ago which forced the evacuation of thousands of homes. He says the nearby wildfire that sparked Tuesday amid the hot, windy weather quickly overwhelmed the small department's ability. They called in from help immediately for both the City of Kelowna and the BC Wildfire Service to get a handle on the flames. Now, currently, we're looking at just over a dozen fires burning in BC. It's hard to believe. Usually we have hundreds. So fingers crossed that this is the kind of year we're going to have moving forward. We have 16 active wildfires province-wide, but we have had 7 spark in the past 24 hours, and 2 of them are considered out of control. Both of those are on the mainland on Vancouver Island. We had 1 fire up near Port Alberni, 2 small fires actually burning, both considered being held. That's good news. Blue Rewards members can now earn more than points at more than $1,700 Dollarama stores across Canada. You have to purchase $20 or more. BMO's announcement on this multi-year exclusive strategic partnership with the budget retail giant comes as Canadians continue to grapple with inflation and affordability. Retail analyst Bruce Winder says the partnership is at a time when Canadians remained focused on stretching their budgets, and we know it because Dollarama in the month of June reported a first quarter profit of $302 million. That's up from $274 million in the same quarter last year. You can, or you must have, a linked payment card to earn the Blue Reward points on your Dollarama purchases moving forward. The Malahat Legion in Mill Bay trying to drum up food and money, hosting an all-ages charity bingo night next week in support of the CMS Food Bank. Money raised will help the South Cowichan Valley families access food during the leaner summer months. So this is for the Cobble Hill, Mill Bay, and Shawnigan Lake Food Bank. The last bingo that they held raised over $4,400, enough for 400 meals for locals in the area. That's your news to 8:18.
It's almost time for Canada's second match at the World Cup of Soccer. We'll be seeing it played out in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium. It'll be right here on the radio, and you know who's going to be there. It's Sports Guy Steve, or should we call him Soccer Guy Steve for this week, as he is right now heading to the match, and we want to talk to him about how the journey is going for him and maybe set up what we're going to expect from this game. We got Captain Canada, Alphonso Davies, back in the lineup after injury. There's a lot to talk about here, so Steve is joining us in just a moment. We'll do our traffic and weather, too. You see a problem out there? Crash, accident, something causing you trouble? Let us know at 71010. CFAX activity, traffic, and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps for a comfortable home, no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's lead plus Fujitsu Airstage dealer. No crashes or accidents to report at this time. Lots of construction-related delays in and out of Victoria on Cook, on Quadra, on Government. Those are some of the big ones. For the West Shore commute into downtown Victoria, it is congested, but it's just volume. It is not anything specific causing issues. I do notice it being quite slow around about Elk Lake on the Pat Bay Highway. I don't know if there's a specific thing happening. If you see anything, though, if you're on the Pat Bay Highway, if it's looking slower than usual, let me know at 71010, because right now it looks like that, but I don't know why. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits. For the weather, a warm day today, highs at 24. A humidex at 25, though, so feeling a little warmer with some mugginess in the air. But it will be cooler by the water on the flip side, with 17-degree temperatures expected to be the high if you're by the Juan de Fuca Strait. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11, and right now it's 14 degrees. Actually, no, it just went up. It's 17 degrees at the Victoria International Airport.
The windup in his first offering. Touch the ball, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
And we've reached him on a ferry because, of course, Steve is going to Vancouver as we speak to take in the Team Canada match against Qatar. At 3 o'clock, it's going to be right here on the radio, by the way. We'll be broadcasting this game on radio. Steve, you're on a ferry right now, aren't you?
Yes, just about to pull into beautiful downtown Tawasin.
And you're in the lineup trying to get off as a walk-on, I guess. So are you noticing, so you've been on the ferry this morning, are you surrounded by fans that are going over? Are there a lot of people heading over to Vancouver right now for this game?
I would say that for the 7 o'clock sailing, it's extremely busy. There's a fair amount of red Soccer Canada paraphernalia around. I wouldn't say overwhelming. It also seems like a lot of kids are going over for the day for some kind of a end-of-year school trip, that kind of thing as well. So you kind of have a mixture. The one thing I have noticed, Brian, is security.
Really?
Out the yin-yang, yes. And everywhere. So they're checking, into the cubicles where everybody has their little computers. They're checking all those kind of things. So I happen to notice that, and I just haven't seen it, I guess, obviously before, or maybe I'm just having to watch for it. But, yeah, there's more security than usual, for sure.
And it's funny that you're already encountering that. You're not even off the island yet. You're just on the ferry over, and already that heightened sort of FIFA World Cup level of security is maybe showing up. What are you expecting out of today? So you're heading over to BC Place Stadium. I'd love to talk to you tomorrow after the game is over, but talk about what the experience is going to be like trying to get in today.
Well, it's going to be a little bit of an adventure because you have to go in a certain way. And it plays with what I would normally do transit-wise when I go to BC Place for a Lions game or a Whitecaps game. So, I'm kind of glad I woke up early and just got on with it because it just gives me more time on the other end to figure out exactly where I'm supposed to be. Because basically you got to walk around the big, giant soccer ball that used to be Science World and walk from there around the entrance through security into the stadium.
And how long did they tell you to leave for it? Like how long do you think it's going to be from sort of arriving in downtown Vancouver to actually finally getting through it all and into your seat? Like what's the timeline?
Well, they don't really say, but what I will say is ever since I got the ticket, FIFA sends me an email about once a day saying you should do this, you should do that, you should do this and that. And the one thing so the gates open at noon before the game at 3 o'clock.
Oh, that's normally a lot of time.
They do it. Yeah, normally it's usually an hour to an hour and a half before a sporting event. So I think that tells you that they're wanting you to get there early so they can process you correctly.
Okay, that's going to be what's ahead of you. And I want to talk to you tomorrow once you've been through the experience. We can talk about it. So we'll have that personal experience soon. But right now, let's just talk about what we're expecting out of the game today because it's Canada versus Qatar. It's game 2 for Team Canada. We tied our first game. So, in fact, everybody in the group tied their first game. So everybody's just even at 1 point. Game number 2 here. We've got Alphonso Davies in the lineup. He's the captain of the team who was injured and hasn't played yet. We might see him on the field today. Set us up for what we're expecting out of today.
Yeah, and Bambito, who's almost as important as Davies, is also fit, as they say in soccer talk, to play today. So that's a big addition as well. the real key here is they really need the 3 points out of this game because, as you mentioned, everybody in the group has a point at this point. And, a win gets you 3, a tie just gets you another 1. And then you're putting yourself into a tough game against Switzerland as your last game of the group. So winning today is pretty key if they want to get through to the round of 32. And apparently there's been a lot of Qatari residents have invaded Vancouver as well. And because they can afford tickets and they can afford luxury hotels, it's been very, very busy in Vancouver as a result.
Yeah, a lot of the luxury hotel rooms have been taken up, I understand. Yeah, because this is a country with money, and they're showing it off in Vancouver, apparently. But how is their team? Is their team going to be a challenge for us?
I think what we've seen in this tournament so far is that the underdog is dangerous, and you can't underestimate anybody. I don't think many people would have seen some of the results we've had this week alone. So, I just don't think you can look past anyone. I think they're ranked in the 60s, and we're ranked about 30. So if you took that on paper, you'd say, well, Canada's favorite, they should get this done. However, they never play the games on paper.
We are going to be watching or listening because CFAX 1070 will broadcast Canada's game today starting at 3. And maybe if you listen closely, you'll hear the voice of soccer guy Steve cheering or booing. Who knows? Maybe you'll be reacting to the hydration break. In Toronto yesterday, Steve, we saw Panama and Ghana, and the fans were booing the hydration break apparently in Toronto.
In the rain. Come on. Really?
Yeah, it was raining, it was cold, and they all stopped to drink water, and soccer fans were not pleased to see it. Okay. And this texter at 71010 says, did I hear Steve right? He said about the big soccer ball where Science World was. Well, it is the big... the big dome of Science World. They've just dressed it up to look like a soccer ball right now. Is one of the views of the Vancouver kind of False Creek Harbor front right now. They didn't take it away. It's just redecorated. So not to panic any listeners there who are texting in. So, anyways, Steve, let's talk tomorrow. I would love to hear the follow up after you've been through the experience.
Yes, and Brad is helping me post throughout the day on the CFAX social media channels. So if you want to follow along as we get from point A to point B, by all means, Brad's going to take care of me. I sent him a clip already of getting on the ferry, and we'll keep you posted throughout the day and try to give you a taste of what it's really like going down the main streets. And I really want to check out that TSN broadcast location because it looks gorgeous on TV.
Well, there you go. Vancouver looking good on TV. And Steve, we'll see you on the clips. Follow CFAX 1070 on Twitter, on YouTube, all these places. And we'll talk again soon, Steve. Thank you for this.
Take care.
All right, we got more on the news and the sports and everything you need to know to start the day with the 8:30 full report next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BCSPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 8:31 on this Thursday, June 18th. We're at 17 degrees already in Victoria as we heat up towards an eventual high of 24. A little humidity in the air as well. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now, the news begins. And here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Good morning. The City of Victoria confirming that the former YMCA building on Broughton and Quadra has sustained significant damage due to an internal water leak that wasn't caught in time. Director of Parks and Rec, Derek Newman, explains.
The source of the leak, which was on the third floor of the facility in a utility closet, and a water line had broke. Their initial observations was significant amount of water had been cascading down the stairwells, through the walls, and through the ceilings. We don't have a detailed understanding of the extent of the damage at this point, but what we can say is that the first, second, and third floors all sustained water damage.
It was to serve as an alternative during the remodeling of Crystal Pool, now onto Plant C, I suppose. West Shore CMP are giving an update on a suspect wanted in connection with alleged sexual assault last week in Langford. The incident believed to have occurred around 3 last Tuesday afternoon in the area of Jacqueline Road and Station. Investigators say a young girl told them she was approached by a stranger at a bus stop on the station who spoke to her briefly, having a short conversation before sexually assaulting her. West Shore CMP arrested a 33-year-old man in relation to this incident yesterday with no physical injuries reported. Investigators say there was significant emotional and psychological impacts that sexual violence can have on victims. A couple new wildfires on the island. The good news is both of them are considered under control. One is near Port Alberni. The other one is just south of Campbell River. Local fire departments making quick work of those flames, getting them under control. We currently have 16 fires burning province-wide, 7 new starts in the past 24 hours, and 2 fires on the mainline are considered out of control. Spirits are high. Pubs across the pond are promising the beer will continue to flow. Not going to run out this time. World Cup excitement, fever pitch in Vancouver today. Canada set to take on Qatar, 3 o'clock in our country's second game of the tournament, and we will carry you all the action live here on CFAX starting at that time. CTV's Andrew Johnson looking at how some of the Vancouver bars were nearly drained of spirits. They've learned their lesson. They're stocking up.
200 kegs ready to go for this week. I've got another 80 kegs coming in the next couple days.
They're not taking any chances after what happened on Saturday. A mob of Aussies, hundreds strong, nearly drank the bar dry, downing about 2,500 beers.
We're here to give to the community. We're using our taxpayers' money for you, Canada.
The pub had to make an emergency run to restock.
I've never seen that before anywhere. That was like stadium-sized amount of alcohol.
Despite the reports of excessive drinking, police Vancouver say FIFA fans have been respectful and there's been no bad incidents reported, so let's keep that afloat. Sports guy Steve, who is now soccer guy Steve today, will be bringing you live updates on social media. Is tracking throughout the game as he goes there live, bringing you all the action. Of course, we'll have it here on CFAX for you as well. And Canadians hitting the road in RVs once again. Summer kicking off, and we're all looking for cheaper ways to get away from it all. Shane Devenish with the Canadian Recreational Vehicle Society says, while that Rockstar bus may be really tempting, one rule is that the RV should only have enough beds for the amount of travelers on board. Despite all their appliances and electrical hookups, RV's biggest advantage may lie in unplugging from the daily demands of life.
You know, everybody feels a lot of stress, and everybody, you know, even their doctor, everybody's doctor talks about getting outside, the fresh air, and just getting away from the hustle and bustle, right? And I think that's a big thing these days where, you know, camping is really popular, you know, re-engaging with your family.
He says you should visit various RV rental spots and dealerships to get a sense of the options before you rent, which can range from teardrop trailers, the tiny ones, to 42-foot behemoths. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. We're asking, where do you prefer to go swimming? 21% say an indoor pool is good. 31% like to jump in a lake. 6% for the ocean. And 43% say they don't go swimming. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 8:37.
Thanks, Lisa. Let's take a look at the weather real quick, where we have sunshine coming at us, highs of 24, a little bit of humidity in the air as well, making it feel warmer, and already 17 degrees at the Victoria International Airport. Oak Bay by the water, it's a little cooler, it's 13. CFAX 1070 Sports, as we were just talking about with sports guy Steve, soccer guy Steve for this week, we have Canada's national team playing the World Cup today from BC Place Stadium facing Qatar, and Canada's men's soccer captain, Alphonso Davies, has been cleared to play in the matchup today, but how much he will play remains to be seen. It is a pivotal match, though, with Canada looking for some points to separate themselves from the other teams in the group, because everybody tied their first match. Everybody's got 1 point. Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina meet in the group's other match in Los Angeles. We've also got Mexico hosting South Korea in a Group A match today in Guadalajara. The match comes after the Mexican military shot down a drone that flew near the South Korean training camp. Mexico and South Korea both won their opening matches. Czechia and South Africa meet in the other Group A matchup. So there's sort of a sense of all of the games today. In baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats and the Redmond Dudes faced off again last night, with Redmond taking the game 9-5. Victoria took the opening game, and now the third one of the series is this morning at 11:05 for their school spirit game. In the majors, we see the Toronto Blue Jays sending right-handed pitcher Treya Savage to the mound today against righty Sonny Gray for the Boston Red Sox. Toronto seeks a 3-game sweep in Boston before heading to Chicago for 3 games against the Cubs. And Kyle Bradish struck out a career-high 12 while pitching 1-run ball into the 8th inning as the Baltimore Orioles beat the Seattle Mariners 5-3. That's your sports to 8:39. CFAX 1070 time now, 8:40 on the roads. We're starting to see the volume delays ease up a bit from the West Shore into downtown Victoria, as we often do at this time of day. No crashes or accidents to report there. Bay Street Bridge flowing in both directions right now. There's overnight closures again, though, tonight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., a full closure of the Bay Street Bridge. But both directions are moving right now. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. We were just talking to sports guy Steve / soccer guy Steve on the way to Vancouver. He was at the 7 o'clock sailing, saw a lot of red shirts and Canada jerseys. Maybe some extra people taking the ferry over to the mainland today. So it could be busy, but right now, actually, things are looking really good. The 9 o'clock is about 85% full, and it leaves in 20 minutes. And that's for vehicle deck space we're talking about there. The weather forecast looking beautiful, sunny, high of 24, a little cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer inland with a humidex of 25. Tonight, clear skies, lows to 11, and then tomorrow, it's the exact same forecast again as today. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto is down by 160 now as the losses deepen a little bit. It's not dramatic, but just down a bit to 34,964. The Dow is up 171 to 51,663. NASDAQ up 312 to 26,333. And the Canadian dollar at 70.7 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
And make sure you listen to us tomorrow for another chance to win Jazz Fest tickets. TD Victoria International Jazz Fest kicking off Friday. We got 4 packs of tickets to a bunch of shows. And I just got a text message, Lisa, at 7:10:10. Ryan and Lisa, you made my day. Thank you so much for the tickets to Kokoroko. I found 3 music-loving friends to join me at the show. Oh, this must be Patty, who won yesterday.
Nice.
Patty goes on to say, I just heard you play my scat. Yeah, we used her as the example earlier today.
She was good.
And she says, your comments made me feel so good. Thanks for the kind words. I think I'll join a choir. Do it, Patty. I love that.
Well, singing's good for you.
That is
proven. You sing. How do you feel when you're singing on stage?
Oh, it's great.
You look like a rock star.
I definitely found it's something that is very intimidating at first, and you can be very self-conscious about your own voice and putting it out there. But the more you do it, you start to realize that people are much more forgiving than you you give them credit for.
Well, you're usually your harshest critic, right?
Yeah, it's usually people are going to accept you way more than you are thinking they will. So that's my take.
That's interesting.
Be bold, be brave, sing, and people will appreciate it.
And
I think is the takeaway.
It's just a muscle, right? And the more you exercise it, the better it's going to be performing for you.
I love it. Thank you for the text, Patty. Good luck. Have a great time at the show, and we'll give away more tickets tomorrow. Got a bunch of different random text messages here to read, different people wanting to share different thoughts. Here's one. This is talking about an event coming up this weekend. I was wondering if you might be able to mention a community event I'm involved in. I'm part of a group called the Repair Cafe, and we have an event once a month where we have volunteers fix broken items for free.
Love it.
Typically, we have about 50 volunteers show up, and we fix everything from toasters to train sets to whatever walks through the door. And this month, we're having a bike event where folks can bring their bicycles for a checkup, tune-up. It's free, and it's happening on Saturday, June 20th. So that's this Saturday, 2 days from now. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Deep Cove Elementary School at North Saanich.
Oh, so further out, okay.
Yeah, so this is on West Saanich Road in North Saanich at the school parking lot at Deep Cove. If you got a bicycle you want to get tuned up, they got some folks who will fix it for free as part of this Repair Cafe.
Are they still looking to fix my coffee grinder, though? It's gone belly up.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe you can bring it next time.
Started making weird noises and then just looked at me sideways. I'm like, so there'll be no coffee today then is what you're trying to tell me?
That is unacceptable.
It was a dark day.
Coffee must happen.
Right?
It's morning radio. You got to have it. One more text message here. Again, I love all the messages. Thank you for joining the conversation at 71010. Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. Just a community public service announcement. I've seen so many people on their phones while driving. Yeah. I am amazed right now. And if it's causing very minor inconveniences out there on the road, people are getting honked at. I'm just asking everybody who could be listening, is it worth it?
Phone down?
Put your phone down.
It's hard. They're addictive. But yeah, I put mine in the back seat so I don't reach for it.
Oh, is that what you do? Yeah. Just kind of completely remove it from reach.
I know me.
Because you know you'll be tempted.
I know my weak points. You got to know your weaknesses. And if you're going to be tempted, if you don't, you don't need it because you shouldn't have it. And I'm not preaching because I'm guilty of it too. And I don't want to admit that, but it's true. We're all human and it's very addictive. And to pick it up with the arm reach. And so the motion will be there. I'll go to pick it up. It's like, right, it's in the back seat because I got to get out of the habit.
I love that solution. Just put it out of reach so you can't even be tempted.
It's still there in the car.
Yeah.
But I can't grab at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're reaching back for your kids saying, stop that. Right? You ever do that with your boys?
Swatting kind of randomly behind you as you try to keep your eyes on the road.
They duck out of the way. So, there's no point to that. Don't do that either. Eyes on the road.
Look, I'm going to turn this car around. I've never actually used that line.
No,
but one day, I've still got time. I can still use it one day.
Well, they're teenagers now, so they're kind of half listening to you.
Yeah.
There's testosterone coursing, so.
There you go. 8:45, time for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Cash is soon on its way to millions of Albertans, courtesy of the province there. Premier Danielle Smith says instead of the government reducing the provincial gas tax, it's going to issue $100 payments to ensure elevated oil revenues will benefit most in the province. She says nearly 3.4 million adults will be eligible for that cash and can start applying for the online payments as of July 1st, Canada Day. The U.S. president has signed an agreement with Iran that calls for Tehran to dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and waive U.S.-backed sanctions on the country, immediately allowing Iran to sell its oil freely in a major concession from Washington, according to details released by both countries. The White House had planned a signing ceremony tomorrow in Switzerland, but now the fate of that is uncertain with conflicting information from the U.S., Iran, and Pakistan. The U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has lashed out at NATO allies. He's announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, whose outcome will depend on how fast Europeans take responsibility for their own security. A Canadian financial services company, Wealthsimple, is set to launch prediction market trading through a new app. The company says it will introduce a beta version soon, as well as Wealthsimple Predict apps this summer. The app will give retail investors access to bets through Calci, that is, the U.S.-based prediction market platform. Prediction markets let investors bet on the outcome of real-world events by purchasing corresponding contracts. That is your news to 8:47.
Thank you, Lisa. Coming up next, we are speaking to one of the BC government ministers, the one in charge of the Children and Family Development Ministry. This is Jody Wickens. Yesterday, we were talking to the Children and Youth representative in BC about their new Child and Youth Action Plan that was unveiled. So this is a plan that's trying to address some issues that have cropped up in a few tragedies to do with children in care. And the takeaway from that seemed to be we've got to coordinate all these different government departments better that work together to help children in care so that less things kind of fall through the cracks. But how do we do that? How do we accomplish that? The minister in charge joining us next to talk about it. We'll also get our traffic and weather updated. So if you have anything out there, any problems, let us know at 71010. This texter says, I just turned the sound off of my smartphone when I'm driving and I put my phone in a zipped pocket. The only problem is sometimes I forget that the sound was off for hours, and then I don't get any calls. Lisa says she throws hers on the back seat. There we go. Zipped pocket with the sound off is another solution to not driving with your phone distracting you. Anyways, okay, we'll get to our traffic and weather in just a moment, and then the Minister of Children and Families next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday from 10 until 1, the first 200 kids through the door, age 12 and under, are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations, because, yes, it is the Father's Day weekend ahead of us. No crashes or accidents to report. Things are actually smoothing out on the West Shore commute into Victoria, too. The volume delays are starting to ease. We do have a small collision reported on Mackenzie near Blenkinsop. I don't know much about it, but do watch out for potential delays. Mackenzie at Blenkinsop with a small fender bender reported there. For the weather, it is a sunny day with a high of 24, a little cooler by the water, but a humidex at 25, so feeling slightly warmer with a bit of humidity once you get away from the moderating effects of the Juan de Fuca Strait. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11, and right now it's 17 degrees.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
The BC government trying to make some changes to prevent tragedies when it comes to children in care, and we've had some examples of that over time. And now we've got the Child and Youth Action Plan unveiled by the Ministry of Children and Family Development. And we are going to talk about it now with the Minister in charge. Jody Wickens is the Minister of Children and Family Development. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Great to get you here. So why don't you start off by just explaining what this is all about and kind of where it came from? Because I know that there's some cases that have been looked at of tragedy of the deaths of children in care, and this is sort of coming out of the look into those and trying to find the ways to do better. So what are we trying to do better here?
Sure, absolutely. So for far too long, families, service providers have been telling us that our services are not connected, they're not working together, they're not achieving what we want them to achieve. So the Child and Youth Wellbeing Action Plan, and action is a really important word there, it provides like a clear roadmap to improve how government delivers programs and services across our ministries, not just in silos and individual ministries. It is a big part of the response to the Don't Look Away report that outlines the tragic death of Colby and his sacred story. I read that report previous to becoming a minister, and his story has stayed with me and a part of my drive for us to do better in our government. It called for coordinated all of government response that doesn't place the responsibility just on one ministry, but ensures that we have a collective responsibility to child and youth well-being and supporting families. And really important, accompanied with the action plan is an outcomes framework. And the outcomes framework ensures that there's accountability for government, that we are measuring indicators of well-being, things like children feeling like they belong, have connection to their community and their culture, have access to healthy food and housing, and that we measure those things across our government. And where we don't see improvements, or where we don't see the income improvements that we want, that we make adjustments and we change things. And so it's really about charting a better future. There are short-term actions that are taken immediately, and then there are long-term actions that are more systemic and will take time. Things like our redesign of our supports and services for children and youth with disabilities, ensuring that more families that have complex children have access to the interventions and funding and support that they need. There's also really exciting things happening in our government for families so that they don't have to tell their story over and over again. They don't need to be bumped between ministry to ministry to fill out endless paperwork. We are launching our Connected Services BC, which means that individuals and families have one door to access government services. So they tell their story once, and then it's government's responsibility to align and coordinate services around the one family experience, instead of a family having to navigate multiple different systems. So that's sort of the high level approach that we are taking. The action plan and the outcomes framework is all available online, and we've launched an engagement. And so, if folks have feedback and see places where we need to make adjustments, there's certainly a place for that, and we'll continue conversations around this really important work.
I think that's a frustration that everybody can sympathize with, regardless of whether you're dealing with, a child in care here or just any way you interact with the government. Sometimes I think people can, just be so frustrated with, talking to one arm of government, you fill out all the forms, and then you talk to another arm of government about something, and now all of a sudden you're doing it all again. You're like, didn't I just tell the government this stuff? And, I think that sort of that siloed approach that the government tends to have, one department's not talking to the other department. I think people can understand that regardless of which way you're interacting with government. So how do you actually break that down, though? Like you say that, that's what this plan is trying to achieve here when it comes to children in care. But how do you actually do that? And I think some people might be skeptical that that's something that the government's going to be able to pull off.
Well, it's not an easy task, but what our action plan and outcomes framework does is it gives us a shared vision across our government. And so as the Minister of Children and Family Development, I chair our Cabinet Committee on Social Initiatives. My Deputy Minister chairs a Deputy Minister Project Board, where we have created governance structures to ensure that decision makers are responsible for keeping that shared vision at the forefront of everything that we do. It is a part of our mandate to make sure that we are following through and accomplishing those things. And if we're not seeing the results we hoped for, we use that information to adjust our approach and how services are delivered and resources are used. Government's also accountable to independent oversight. The Representative for Children and Youth, for example, really asked for government to take this more whole of government approach. I'll also say, I read the Don't Look Away report before I became the Minister of Children and Family Development. I was a service deliverer. I am a mom. I have 2 children. That I have a child with disabilities and a child that has experienced mental health challenges. And so I understand how our services work and how they don't work. And one of the things that has stuck with me in the Don't Look Away report was that there were multiple opportunities for people, community members, government organizations to intervene in a family's life when things were starting to not go well, when crisis started to occur, and even before crisis started to occur. So the Child and Youth Wellbeing and Action Plan is about our collective responsibility in government, but also our collective responsibility as a whole. Government can't do it alone. We do need partners to also partner with us to deliver these programs and services, tell us when things aren't working well, and come online to be a part of this transformation.
Jody Wickens is Minister of Children and Family Development. Thanks for talking to us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're right at the time for the show today. Thanks for listening, everybody. I got to go, but join us tomorrow with another chance to win Jazz Fest tickets. Lisa's got your 9 o'clock news next, and thanks to Morgana Adby for producing today's show.